This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. 8 more COVID deaths. Department of Social Services to take over the food distribution program. And former Prime Minister Minnis says he would welcome a commission of inquiry. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here. Good morning again. I'm Dwight Strachan on this Thursday, September 30th, 2021. In a moment, my special guest co-host today, Patrice Darville, will be joining us, filling in for Laverne Gardner, who's off today. We've got a lot to talk about. It is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, even though it is the final day of the month. We'll get into prostate cancer, what all men need to know, and all the people who love them need to keep in mind. And we've got another drawing of the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle that's going to be happening this morning. And later in Morning Blend Business, we are going to be talking with the head of the hotel union about the new policy at Atlantis requiring employees to pay for their COVID tests weekly. It's all straight ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, 8 more COVID deaths confirmed in the country, bringing the total so far for the month to 81. This was in the dashboard released on Tuesday. The victims were all from New Providence, ranging in age from 46 to 70. 6 of the victims were women and 2 were men. The latest deaths bring the total number recorded in the country to date to 511. Another 111 people were confirmed to have died with COVID, but not because of it, while 43 deaths are under investigation. 77 new COVID cases were also confirmed on Tuesday, 69 for New Providence, 5 for Grand Bahama, 2 for Exuma, and 1 for Eleuthera. There were 146 people hospitalized with COVID as of the latest update, 17 of whom are in intensive care. The government will move quickly to introduce a new food distribution program once the National Food Distribution Task Force wraps up its work next week. That's according to Minister of Social Services Obi Wilshcombe. He says, insofar as the food program is concerned, it comes to an end and then they have to absorb the individuals. He also questioned why we're spending $800,000 per week, while he says it would make more sense to have warehouses of food and calls for distributions. Former Prime Minister Dr. Jimenez insisting that all public sector promotions that took place ahead of the election were above board, and he also said he would welcome a commission of inquiry into his government spending during the COVID-19 pandemic. Jimenez speaking with the Nassau Guardian saying that all promotions were transparent and that there are commissions that are constitutionally protected statutory bodies, and he said the Public Service Commission, Police Service Commission, and that they make the determinations. And once those are done, he says that's law, constitutionally protected. And for more than 4 months, Information Commissioner Keith Thompson and his deputy, Shane Miller, have met with various government agencies, interviewed and eventually selected a consultant for the office, strategizing the way forward for the rollout of the Freedom of Information process in the country. In May, the Minutes administration appointed Thompson, a retired Supreme Court justice, and Miller, a former assistant director of legal affairs, to lead the Freedom of Information office. When he made the announcement at the time, former Attorney General Carl Bethel cautioned that it would take another 3 to 6 months before the office started offering services to Bahamians. Thompson saying yesterday that his team is still in the consultative stage. Overseas from France, French ex-President Nicolas Sarkozy convicted today and sentenced to a year of house arrest for illegal campaign financing of his unsuccessful 2012 re-election bid. He's going to appeal the ruling, according to his lawyer. The court says Sarkozy, who would be allowed to serve the 1-year sentence at home by wearing an electronic monitoring bracelet. Sarkozy's lawyer noted that the sentence corresponds to the maximum his client faced. He said he has spoken with Sarkozy, who had asked him to appeal, and that the verdict won't be enforceable. Sarkozy, France's president from 2007 to 2012, had vigorously denied wrongdoing during the trial in May and June. He wasn't present at the Paris court for the ruling. He's accused of having spent almost twice the maximum legal amount of 22.5 million euros, or $27.5 million, on the re-election bid that he lost to socialist François Hollande. The court stated that Sarkozy knew the legal limit was at stake and voluntarily failed to supervise additional expenses. Thursday's verdict comes after the 66-year-old Sarkozy was found guilty on March 1st of corruption and influence peddling in another case. He was given a year in prison and 2 years suspended in that case, but is free pending appeal. And from Ecuador, the president there has declared a state of emergency in the prison system following a battle among gang members in a coastal lockup that has killed at least 116 people and injured 80 in what authorities say was the worst prison bloodbath ever in the country. Officials say at least 5 of the dead were found to have been beheaded. The president decreed a state of emergency Wednesday, which will give the government powers that include deploying police and soldiers inside prisons. The order coming a day after bloodshed at the Littoral Penitentiary that officials blamed on gangs linked to international drug cartels fighting for control of the facility. The president, visibly moved by the carnage, saying at a news conference that what happened in the prison was, quote, bad and sad. He also said he could not guarantee that authorities had regained control of the lockup. In sports, the Bahamas continues its dominance in the Dominican Republic as they won their third straight tie, taking down the host nation in the 2021 Confederation of Tennis of Central American and Caribbean Under-12 team competition for Sub-Region 3 and 4. They were competitive in their 2-1 victory over the host nation's first team in Santo Domingo. The Bahamas had already locked up at the 2-0 heading into the doubles match, although the score was 2-0. The victories were hard fought, and both matches needed a third set to determine a winner. More on this in today's Guardian Sports section. And new Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Mario Boleg, congratulating Bahamian women's professional basketball player Jonquel J.J. Jones for being named MVP of the WNBA. In a press statement, Boleg stated that this is a great milestone for the Bahamas and that the ministry was excited and thrilled to congratulate her on a monumental accomplishment. More on this in today's Guardian Sports section as well. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got mid to upper level troughing that continues to enhance convective activity across the country through tonight, while high pressure will generate gentle to fresh breezes. Boaters should be alert for the risk of rip currents and water spouts and possibly funnel cloud activity in or near showers and thunderstorms. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly sunny, hot, and humid conditions with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, becoming variably cloudy and warm with a few isolated showers or thunderstorms tonight. Small craft caution will come into effect for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight. Gusty winds and higher seas can be expected in or near showers or thunderstorms. Winds northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, building to 15 to 20 knots tonight in the northwest and central islands. Northeast to east at 10 knots or less in the southeastern islands. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but building to 4 to 6 feet tonight in the northwest and central Bahamas, 1 to 3 feet in the southeastern islands. Temperatures today getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Custom Computers is proud to announce the opening of its newest know-how store in Caves Village. It's never been more convenient to shop for your favorite electronics and computer accessories. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, we carry all the latest gadgets and tech solutions that make life easy with free delivery to businesses. Visit Custom Computers at Patton Street, Cable Beach, and now the Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance. Find tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers.
Be prepared for the rainy season with an RBC loan to fund your rainy season essentials. For hurricane shutters, generators, solar power systems, or general home repair, RBC offers a range of flexible and competitive financing solutions. Let us help you get started at rbc.com/Caribbean/get-a-loan. Special conditions apply. Reimagine your rainy season readiness with RBC financing.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. My Thursday co-host, Laverne Gardner, is off today, and she'll be back with us shortly, and well, soon, next week maybe. And but I've got a special guest co-host with me today, and Patrice Darville is in studio. Patrice it's okay to say that you're a fan of Morning Blend, right? You're a fan of...
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
a fan.
You're a
That sounds
critic.
good. That sounds about right. I am a critic,
like,
yes.
I mean, during the show, I'm getting multiple critiques
Yes.
from Patrice every day.
And you are grateful for that.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas.
Great to have you with us. We worked together many years ago.
Which is why you're still calling me Darville. I've been a fisher for
Yes. Well, I didn't want to go
about-
there.
Well, it's fine.
Well, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Oh?
my legal name still.
Oh.
Yeah.
So which one do you want me to call you?
It doesn't matter.
Right.
You can call me Patrice.
But that was your given name.
Yeah.
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 So that's
still
okay.
relevant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Not that we've gotten that.
right. everybody didn't need to know all that. But that's how it is.
Yes.
We'll do a show on that one day.
No.
No? Not your story.
Okay, good.
But in general, what happens? That's okay. Tell us about yourself, Patrice.
No, let's go into the news.
Yeah, no, you want to talk about that? No. Well, we used to work together at another place.
Yes.
Many, many years ago. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that actually,
over
I was
20.
thinking about it, and I was, do you still wear khakis? Because that was the days when you wore khakis every day, khaki pants.
Yeah,
and-
every day?
Yeah,
Oh, it
you
was
were a
every
khaki
day.
guy. Yeah, you were very young then.
We were very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Well, we can tell people how long ago that was, right? It was like 25
It was
almost.
about 25
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
Can you believe that?
That I've known you that long?
Yeah.
No.
And that we've been in this field.
For that long.
that long.
Yeah.
It's crazy
It's
stuff.
great. It's
but
great.
anyway, it's a pleasure to
What
have
is
you
good
here.
is that it's still around. You know what I mean? My field especially,
Yeah,
considering.
I tell you. But anyway, it's a pleasure to finally have you on the show.
Yes,
I think
it's
I've
great.
asked you before.
You have.
Yeah.
You have actually. You asked me during the time when they had just come out with the travel visas. Remember,
So you
and I had
lots to say.
traveled.
Well,
and
that
I-
was to be a guest.
right,
Yeah.
and I had traveled and had a
Yeah, you
huge
had a hard
issue.
time.
Yeah. But since then, they have done better. Well, I have a contact
Couldn't
now.
get
so-
worse.
It's good to have. It's good to have a contact.
Always.
Yeah.
In this
so
place.
so that worked out well.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna have a lot of fun this morning. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, good to be here.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about. We are going to get into the news, of course, but also coming up in our 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with Dr. Gregory Pinto. It is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Of course, it's the last day of the month, but it's never a bad time to talk about prostate cancer awareness, and we've got a lot of men who are needlessly suffering because of this, and it just doesn't make any sense. And you'll hear that from Dr. Pinto this morning. In our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to do another one of the drawings for the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. 2 more winners will be drawn today, and some great prizes up for grabs. And will it be you?
I hope so.
Oh, no, you. You've entered.
I've entered all of my relatives who are vaccinated, and none of our names have been called yet. So I'm hoping that today is our lucky day.
Could be.
Yeah.
It could be. We'll see. Although people will say, oh, she got on the show and now she won. So that could be an issue. But maybe not. Maybe not. And we have nothing to do with the names that are drawn.
I realize.
So,
Yeah.
So it's a very fair
And
and,
the thing is,
transparent process.
It is, and it is such a simple way to register to win. You know, this is you don't even. I thought I would have to upload my vaccination card. It's just your name, your birthday, your
Yeah.
email address, your phone number, and that's it.
That's it.
So it's easy to go on and sign up to become a part of this and win something.
Do it now.
Yeah.
VaxBahamas.com.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. All right, so that's coming up. And then in our 9 o'clock hour, Atlantis is now requiring employees to pay for their own testing weekly. And we've talked about this before on the show. And according to the labor laws, there are issues with that. What's been resolved about it? How can Atlantis continue to do this? The Hotel Union president, Darren Woods, is going to join us this morning to
That's
talk
going to
about
be
that.
interesting.
Yeah. So a lot to get to on this Thursday morning. Let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, quite a lot to talk about. The big headline in the National Guardian: Minutes would welcome an inquiry. The former PM says spending and promotions were above board. We'll get to that in a bit. Another big story: the Department of Social Services to take over the food distribution program, which is coming to an end. And we'll get to that in a second as well. But there's another story. We got a statement yesterday, late yesterday, from the Minister of Economic Affairs. That's Senator Michael Halkitis. And this is on the emergency powers, an update to the emergency powers order. And so I'm going to read it to you. The statement says, in keeping with his government's promise to revoke those parts of the emergency orders that are not undergirded by science and economic data, Prime Minister Philip Davis today repealed additional sections of the emergency orders. This repeal now permits the construction industry and retail businesses to operate on Sunday. The Prime Minister said, quote, we are seeking to eliminate inconsistencies found in the orders that do not make economic sense while aiming to stimulate positive economic movement, as these portions of the orders are no longer grounded in science. The repealed orders prevented the construction industry as well as retail businesses such as water depots, beauty salons, and cinemas from opening on Sundays. Such businesses will no longer face these restrictions, but will have to comply with the current public health measures. Prime Minister Davis added that cruise passengers must be vaccinated in order to enter the country, and this greatly reduces the risk of the spread of COVID-19 among businesses catering to such visitors. The relaxation of the orders is designed to meet the real needs of all stakeholders in the local economy. And that was a statement from the Ministry of Economic Affairs and the Senator Michael Halkitis there on the emergency powers amendments that went into effect, we're told, yesterday. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people have been wondering why, how, why not, and wondering if we will ever recover from the mindset change. It's been more than a year and a half now that these businesses have not
been closed
open
especially
on
on
Sunday.
Sundays, yeah.
And you wonder, are they going to go back to it?
I think so. I think especially for the beauty salons. I think that was a big day for them. And did he say spas as well, or just beauty salons?
Beauty salons. I know it's been a really tricky with the spas.
Yeah, okay. So that'll be good for them. And especially for the cinemas, because Sunday was a great day for families to go out to the theater to watch movies, and to be together. So that's a good thing for them too. Hopefully it'll boost them going into the holiday season as well.
Yeah. So, hey, what are your views on this, folks? About time? Or too soon? Hold your horses. The numbers are still up there with COVID. Do we need to restrict movement?
No, the thing is,
For
I
now?
think we need to get back into some kind of normalcy for real. But the thing is, like the orders change so frequently that people can't, like for me, for instance, I can't tell you what time the grocery store closes anymore or the gas station. So
all
I'm
over the
just
place.
driving around like a crazy person.
Yep.
So if we can get to where this is the standard, for at least 6 months, then people can kind of feel like it's normal.
Right.
But every other week or 2 weeks, it's changing. I pulled up at the gas station, I think it was 2 weeks ago before the time changed to 11:59. I pulled up at the gas station and I'm like, what's going on? They were like, we're closed. I'm like, closed? It's not even 9 o'clock.
Wow. Yeah.
So, if we can get to some level of consistency with these emergency orders, that would be great, for the public.
All right. Not grounded in science and economic data. People have been saying that for a long time.
I agree. Where is the science on
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Where is it?
But-
I mean, other places are opened up completely.
Yeah, on Thursdays. So what's the difference on a Sunday if you are following the protocols? Many have been saying that, but we do know if you are off that day, that you may start partying earlier and may forget that you need to distance a little bit and that you need to have that mask properly affixed to your face.
This is why we need to go out there and get vaccinated. You know, it is important for persons to go out there and be vaccinated if you're not going to be responsible. You know, it all comes back to personal responsibility. And I think that a lot of people are forgetting that one little thing there. Personal responsibility is so simple. You know, either you're going to be vaccinated, you know, or you're going to socially distance yourself from persons. Definitely wear your masks, wash your hands and sanitize. It's so easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy.
It really does seem that way. But let's see. Well, let's hear what you have to say about this, folks. Give us a call. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Remember, standard text rates apply. I think it's going to be welcome news to a lot of people, though.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, also, you know, on a twist of it, I don't see where the lockdowns are really helping with the cases. I mean, not, you know, this time
early
restriction.
curfews,
Like,
yeah.
How is it helping us?
Yeah, we were pretty bad last month.
Exactly.
And the month before.
Yeah, so I don't see where's the science in that that tells us that we're in house by 11:59 that the cases are going to go down. We've not seen it yet.
Right.
Not yet.
But it does cause you to adjust your attitude, right? I can't do too much because I know I'll have to get home very soon.
Does it?
Doesn't it?
No.
No? You sure?
We still have the cases. Obviously, it's not working.
But it might have been worse. It might have been worse.
Again, where is
We
the
don't
science?
know. Guessing a lot, yes.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
We're guessing.
Yeah.
You know, but if we go by the numbers from August, those numbers alone will tell us that being locked down or having to be home by 9 o'clock didn't help us at all.
Wow. All right. So tell us if you agree. You can tweet us, Facebook us, or text us, or call in about that. All right. So the other story, we'll get to Minutes in just a bit there, but the food distribution program, the new Minister of Social Services touring what's happening and what's been happening as this program is coming to an end, and he had some concerns as well. Take a listen to this report from our Kyle Joaquin.
I just don't understand why spending $800,000+ a week. I have a difficulty with that.
The Social Services Minister says with $800,000 being spent per week on food assistance, he feels it should go a much longer way.
Why are we spending an incredible amount of money going through second and third parties when it's costing the state so much and still not getting as many people the food as I'd like them to have? 17,000 we're told were fed. My thinking is you have much more than that.
Wolfscombe says with the Food Distribution Task Force wrapping up its work, government will introduce a new program as soon as possible. Another program, he says, his ministry is looking to implement, one that provides housing for the homeless.
Why don't we go look for places that are sitting idle right now? Someone mentioned perhaps, say, the Corner Motel that's on Carmichael Road, that if it's available, why can't we go? And why can't we cause people to have at least a place to stay?
Now, as for where government would get the money to fund such a program,
money is around, and we have to find ways in which we have to cut certain areas to do certain things.
Now, one thing the minister said he really wants to get rid of is the need to have people standing outside waiting for assistance.
One of the things I'm deeply concerned about is to see the Bahamian people, many elderly, sitting on the outside waiting for services. That's not appropriate. That's unacceptable.
State Minister for Social Services Lisa Ramming is hoping to revitalize urban renewal and get social services offices in more communities.
So if you have an issue in the community that you live, you wouldn't have to come out on the outskirts and stand on long lines and sit in the sun. You're going to get that help right there.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Okay. Now, yeah, something obviously has to be done. The program's coming to an end, and social services is going to take over that. We don't want to put as they say, mount on anything. But we know what happens when the government is directly involved, when they're responsible. It's never as efficient as it could be when there are others who are maybe in the private sector who come in to manage it, because there's a totally different way of thinking from somebody who's in the private sector.
I agree.
We've seen this over and over. And when you hear something like that, you're like, oh, my goodness.
Well, when I heard it, I wondered where the new minister is coming from, because his concern, according to him, is that we're spending $800,000 a week in the papers. Initially, they're saying that we're feeding about 57,000 homes, and now it's down to 17,000 homes, which, you know, if you do the simple math, that's $47.05 per household.
Not much.
And he's saying that $800,000 is too much? At $47 is not enough.
Yeah, $800,000 for me to buy a house. Yeah, that
Right.
you didn't have to spend that much.
Exactly.
But to feed almost
17,000
half, right.
people, $800,000 is nothing.
And just a few months ago, when that was a big, as you said, a bigger number, where
Yeah.
almost half the country wasn't working.
Exactly.
That was a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, and so I almost wonder if the minister is more concerned with taking this initiative away from the second and third parties, more so than actually feeding the people, you know, or helping the poor people, or the needing people. So, you know, I just wonder about that. You know, I understand they want full control, but does full control equal where everybody is going to be helped and served?
Well, I think before saying this, there should have been a cost analysis, right? Like whether you would
There's never any. That's the thing. You know, everybody just speaks. Everybody, you put a microphone in front of their face and they just say whatever comes, or what they've heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if he had done the simple math, he would never have said that $800,000 is too much a week.
And would
for
you
all of
really
these people.
save anything if you went directly through the warehouses?
Well,
like he's talking about. We don't know. I mean,
Yeah, and
does he
who's
know?
going to manage that? You know, let's be real. Who is going to manage these warehouses that he's talking about?
Department of Social Services.
Yeah, and in history, you know, what have they done that was successful? Social services.
Frustrate people.
Exactly.
That's one thing.
He even
We've got a lot of great
mentioned-
friends there, by the way.
I think
but
he
still,
even mentioned in an interview, in the same interview, about the cards that they used at one time. I don't even think that was. I think there was an issue with that as well. When they went to the stores and the cards,
Especially initially.
were not sufficient to purchase the groceries that they needed. I just wonder if these people shop in the same grocery stores as I do. You know?
you know the answer.
Is it no?
It's no.
Okay.
Well, maybe they do, but they don't do it the way you do.
And how's that? Because I go with a very short list. Things are very expensive.
I think if the minister had concerns, say perhaps, okay, there are some issues that I need to get further clarification on, that I need to understand better, but because I do have some concerns, but
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I do your homework first.
Yeah.
You know, and then speak to the media. But I find that everybody is just speaking to the media, and nobody is even giving themselves a month in office to go through how things worked.
Well, they're hearing people say, oh, there's no honeymoon period, so you got to hit the ground running and come out like you know what you're doing. And so
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pressure on them and a lot of pressure on everybody.
Yeah.
And so we may have a lot more of this ahead, unfortunately. But some of you know how this goes. Just say, you know, we're looking into some things. We just
Yeah.
have some concerns right now.
I would like
And-
to hear what his plan is, though. You know, I mean, it's fine to say you're going to change it and it's going to come out of the hands of the second and the third parties, but what is your plan exactly?
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to help these 17,000 households?
Well, all right, let's hear what you have to say on the phone lines. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's go to this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning to your co-host.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what I would like to see the social service go back to a Melody Griffin plan where she got all of them on a prepaid card. They had dignity. They didn't have to line up to get their food. They could have go to the food store with their card and they can get their food.
Isn't that still in place?
No, that's not in place. The African government moved that. It was silly.
Right, but what was the amount on those cards? I think that was the issue.
It was like $80 and
Right.
90,
Yeah.
and they could just go and get their food. And I'm hoping that OB will come to the date over there. It's under their plan. Talk with Mandy Griffin and implement that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And stop the people from hanging online in the hot sun, man. They say a new day. But a new day is to put these two back on a cart. And if you don't know, but they call Mandy Griffin.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good day, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember the card, but
Yeah.
I remember there was an issue with it as well.
I know it was totally abandoned.
Yeah, it was.
But, okay.
There was an issue with it.
Continue to call in. We've got some text messages here. Somebody says here, from the utterances of the Minister of Social Services, it appears that we are back to the old thinking of growing government as opposed to working with credible NGOs in the private sector and outsourcing where practical. This type of old thinking is concerning to the extreme.
I agree.
Yeah, back to the big government.
Yeah.
Well, this one says, I love your co-host, Dwight. She says the things that you won't allow your texters to say. What now? Example, the minister's concern is really with who is making the money and not. And it is not with... is what now? All right, see, that's different from what she said. That's not what she said. So that's why where you were going with that was not what she said. But call in. You can say it. And then we'll cut you when you say something. But yeah, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you, man?
Doing well.
Awesome. And to your guests and
Good
to the
morning.
Bahamas.
Yes, Patrice.
Yeah. Dwight, I think you guys are getting what Obi said a little mixed up because that is not exactly what he said. What he said is that $800,000 is too much to be paying a third-party vendor, all right? And then when it gets to the people that need the food and stuff, they're not getting it. So, he's not saying, it shouldn't be paid. He's saying it's too much to be paying a third-party vendor, okay? And then the people is not getting the assistance that they need. So,
Right, but but you're paying a third-party vendor $800,000 to feed 17,000 households. How is that not enough? I mean, how is it too much? It is not enough.
Say that again?
If you're feeding 17,000 households, how is $800,000 too much?
Okay, it is too much when the people are not getting the assistance that they're paying. You're paying the third-party vendor that money to feed the people, but the people is not getting the assistance that you're paying these people.
No, when you say they're not getting the assistance, what do you mean? They're
Right.
not getting the food packages? What are they not
Right.
getting?
Yeah, they're not getting the food packages.
Well, it's only
You're pay-
$47.
you're
It's only
okay,
going to be
you're
about
paying a
$47 worth of food. That's not enough anyway. What I'm saying is that you're saying that he doesn't want to pay the second and third parties because he's paying them too much, but they're feeding the people.
No. You're missing the point, okay?
Make it for me. Make it clearer for me.
Okay, he is saying that you're paying a third-party vendor $800,000 to feed persons, and people are not getting the assistance. They're not getting the food. So why pay a third-party vendor all of that money and then not distributing the food to the people
That's not what he was saying.
Right,
That's
and
not what
even
he was saying.
even if you're saying that they're not getting
He's
the
saying
food,
go
we're saying-
directly to the manufacturers and go to the wholesalers as opposed to these third-party vendors. Now, we're all assuming that there is some massive markup with the vendors, but we all know, we've been hearing it since before the pandemic, that prices were going up on almost everything, and it's gotten worse since the pandemic because of shipment issues and so many other things, lack of truck drivers in many parts of the world. So prices have gone up as well. So what $800,000 buys is much less than it was 2-3 years ago. So
Right,
you're not
and-
taking these things into consideration. Will that
Yeah.
make much of a difference?
See, at the end of the day, though, the people is who always lose. The people, the small man is the man that loses at the end of the day. So it needs to be fixed. And any event, it needs to be fixed because, the people at the bottom is tired of suffering, man. The people at the bottom is tired of going through and you bring a government in to, run your business and your affairs for you. So somebody has to fix it, okay? Because we're tired of feeling the pinch at the bottom of the ladder all the time, so it needs to be fixed.
Okay, well, if we're going to do that, we need to fix it for everybody, because I think I'd love for the government to help me to get food directly from a wholesaler or the factory to bring down my cost of the food bill. That would help us too. So if we're going to talk like that, then perhaps that's what we need to do for everybody. Do we want the government to be in the food business, to bring in there? I mean, if we're going to cut the cost in half, let's do it, government.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, why not? No. Are we doing this for the people?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Since they know the people,
well,
do it for all of us.
What I want to know, the caller mentioned that the people are not being serviced. Where's the evidence?
Yeah, they're not getting as much as they'd want,
right?
And that's been a problem.
But what are they getting? That's the thing. I mean, there is no data, and that's what I said. The minister came in and just said whatever, without the proof or the evidence to say that this is what they're getting, and this is what I want to give them. So, I'd like to see what his plan is.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear something about what he wants. What are his intentions?
Go directly to the wholesalers and the factories. Yeah. This person says here on our text line, 800,000 spent wholesale is a whole lot more than spent retail. The food distribution was not well planned, and the food packages were shabby, especially when they say it was enough for a family of 4 for a week. Okay. Some more here. This is about vaccinations. We'll get back to that. This one says here, the PLP and OBS want to take the food contract away from those folks and give it to one of their cronies. Well, I don't know. Okay. This one says here, if they go back to the card, they need to fix some of the issues. I know someone who had a card, and many times the card had not been credited. They would only find out when they got to the cash register. Oh, dear.
Yeah, there were some issues with those cards. I don't know if it was just that or lack of funds. Insufficient funds to purchase the items that the person went to get.
Another one here. I think Mr. Wilson should have waited until he was properly briefed and understood the numbers until he made a statement. This type of shooting from the hip approach may have worked 10 to 15 years ago, but it won't work today. Please remind the minister that it's a new day. Come prepared. The volume and quality of food isn't worth $47 per person. Remember those packages of cereal, rice, etc., not fresh vegetables or meat. And they talked about that before, though, about the challenges with that and how those things will go bad, they'll spoil, and so they had to try to do some things that could be transportable and weren't perishable. So, yeah. People receiving these packages need to understand that these food programs are to supplement their overall food intake. They're not meant to be totally reliant upon these programs for their daily food requirements.
Well, and that's just it. They are relying on them.
Yeah, that's very hard to say that.
Yeah, because, a lot of them didn't have jobs.
Right.
And some still don't. And so they are relying on them to feed their families.
Tough stuff. One final text on this. This person says here, I agree with the caller about the card because I'm a young man and I wasn't working for months. And when I went on the line, a damn woman started sucking the teeth and saying bad stuff, but my family needed to eat. Plus the lines were long and the sun was hot and disorganized. I felt so shamed, but I was hungry. Oh, boy.
Yeah, the lines are long. I pass many food distribution centers on my way into town, and it is heartbreaking, particularly if it's raining. It is really heartbreaking to see mothers and their small children just trying to get in queue to get, a grocery bag of food, and so early in the morning. And when they come there are already hundreds of people waiting ahead. And so, I feel the pain for them. I do hope that the minister can work out something so that people can have their dignity back. If it's going to be the card, then the card needs to work. Because I don't know which one is worse, standing out in the line or going to the register with a card that's not working.
That's hurtful. Hurtful.
So it just has to be something that works across the board. And it's going to cost a lot of money. So they need to definitely start with the numbers.
It's going to take some time, and it's going to work out the kinks as well. I'm sure there are going to be some growing pains with any change. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, morning.
Hi, good morning. Can you turn on your radio for us, please?
Sure, no problem. I know they had problems with the card, but I think with the COVID situation and long lines, perhaps they need to place a greater emphasis and work out the kinks and make it an electronic process, and then put money on cards and open up the amount of vendors that clients are able to go to, to make purchases to get food, and therefore you can then purchase based on your needs. You understand?
Yes.
And it's moving the country forward, digitization, modernization, and then, of course, more persons or more vendors can benefit from the program, and it takes away paperwork if everything becomes online.
Right.
Because when COVID came about, we had to change certain process like registering the tourism employees to national insurance very quickly, and that happened. It wasn't done as probably the most effective way, but it was done.
Right.
But now we need to look at things at a broader light and try to make a better transition going forward. It may be difficult, like for older persons, but we need to see how that we can make them inclusive in this process, because just about everybody has a phone.
That's true.
Yeah, that's some good ideas there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow. This text here, quite a few of these. Okay, let's do this. More people saying they like you very much, Patrice. Another one, social services needs an overhaul. Training. The feeding program had many challenges also, but we need new and innovative ideas from these programs. I hope they were listening to that caller just now. The service at social services is poor, lacking productivity, too busy, taking breaks. And another one.
The thing is, it's fine to say, let's do the card, right? Who gets the card? Who decides on who gets the card?
I mean, you meet a criteria, I believe.
Yeah.
So the folks there.
Who are the folks?
Whoever works there. Right? No? Something else goes on? Oh, dear. Okay.
Well, I
So
mean,
you're saying
how
some
would
people
it
who might
be?
not
How would it
be-
be any different from going into social services to get everything else? When you have to get uniforms for your students, for your kids, you go to social services. There's this big issue. We can't get it because of whatever. So who is going to be in charge of saying, okay, you qualify, Dwight, to get this prepaid card to go get groceries for your family?
Yeah. Well, they have a section that does it.
Okay.
But you're not satisfied with that. You think there was abuse of the system.
If they had a section that is functioning right now, then they would have numbers. They would have the statistics to tell us how many people in the Bahamas are right now getting food assistance, not these blanket numbers they're throwing out, 17,000, 57,000, whatever. They would have these people's names, and they would say, okay, yeah, Dwight Strachan is on this list, and he comes every week. We don't have that. And we need that. We need statistics. We need this to help us.
Yeah.
That's the only way the program is going to work.
All right, some of these, a few more of these before we take a break here. Someone says, we need to talk about the serving sizes. People say this was shabby, but one can of tuna is multiple servings. Same thing with corned beef. Don't start on the rice or cereal. This can feed villages.
One can of tuna is multiple servings. Well, if you make it into a salad, but then you got to have mayonnaise, you got to have onions, you got to have sweet pepper. Who giving you? They're not getting all those things.
Yeah, well, you could do steamed tuna with one can, no, for a couple people.
Okay, you got to get that tomato paste. You got to have a stove to cook that on. You got to have gas.
Right, or electricity.
Yeah. So
this one says here, we will see about the food packages. Folks were generally happy with those packages. They consist of 2 creams, 5 pounds of rice, 5 pounds of grits, 4 corned beef, 1 small tomato paste. See, you got that there. 4 tuna, 1 small oil.
4 tuna.
1 can of soup, 1 box of cornflakes, 5 pounds of sugar, and a $20 meat voucher. They sometimes had peanut butter. Some areas got fruit and vegetables.
Okay. Nice.
They will.
That sounds more than $47 worth of stuff.
So I guess it.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, they need to do the math. You know, they really
Check it
need
out
to,
before you criticize.
Check it out before you criticize.
They'll take the contract and give it to their cronies.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they do take the contract and give it to their cronies. But, the bigger picture is, are we feeding the people who need the food?
This person said you should blame the food assistance program for the lack of data. Well, actually, I don't think that's right. They have the data, and they were on this show before, they've been on others, and they talked about what they're doing and how it works and the struggles they have and the challenges they faced. And so it is there. It is there. But, unfortunately, as many of the texters are saying, we're assuming that people are all in their teams and ready to not even talk to the other team because they think, well, you all put these people here, so why should we even listen to them? And that's always been holding us back, and that's going to continue to hold us back, right? But you could get the information. You can. 1 can of tuna for multiple people? You guys got to be joking.
It's not going to work.
Hey,
it's not going to work.
When I was a kid, it used to work. But I guess that was the
know,
operative word being kid.
No, but surprisingly, Dwight, when we were younger, a lot of things worked.
Right? But now you wonder how in God's name.
Yeah, how do we make it work?
Eat 2 cans by yourself now.
Exactly.
But what's
One?
up?
Yeah.
Something's wrong with us.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Has to be.
How our parents managed to make things last and what have we done? What have we become?
I don't know. But, I know when I was younger, things went a longer way than they seem to go now.
Yep.
I don't know.
Big eye now, as they say.
I can't even say it's a big eye. I wonder if they just reduced the portion sizes.
There has been some of that. There has definitely been some of that. But I also think, and the restaurants give us much more, and we're accustomed to eating a whole lot more. I think we've just the Western Hemisphere.
It depends on which restaurant now.
Yeah, well, the fancy ones that you probably go to give you little tiny portions.
They do.
Right. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, right here, man. Listen, I have 2 suggestions, but they need to improve the card system, the assistance program. I think that would be a good idea if they could get that going. Then you won't have all these long lines of getting assistance. And then number 2, the issue with the what should I call it? The assistance for the food program. They have a new system where it has rejected a lot of those folks who was on the feeding network getting their groceries. That has now disenfranchised a lot of persons, this new computerized system. So I don't know if it was designed to do so, but they need to reinstate those persons who have been disqualified. You see?
Okay. Probably get some more information on that. Okay.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a break. But this text here, the idea of using the urban renewal centers to help with the feeding program is a good idea. More people in the communities will help instead of the long lines. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. There. All right.
No, it's never the building or that's never the issue. The issue is who are you going to put in there?
The manning of it,
That's the problem.
Yeah. And so it's easier to have them in one distribution center.
But you can control it.
Right.
Then you have it all over the place, and then I become the controller, and I don't want to give you anything.
Right.
I want to keep this to take home. I want to take this home with me.
Or you give too many people who don't need stuff
exactly.
as well. So that's another issue.
Yeah,
but we got to work on ourselves, though, to prevent that from becoming the usual story. Right? Hey, guess what? Today is my other co-host, Pamela Musgrove's birthday. Happy birthday, Pamela. I don't know if you're up listening to us this morning because it's your birthday, but hey, we hope you have a fantastic one. And we look forward to seeing you on Monday. Happy birthday, Pam Musgrove. All right, we're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
And eat and drink on the rum speed. We can scream, we dance all night long to the sounds of the ancient man. Now you done blow your candle, you done look on all your gift. We done sing your happy birthday and you done made your birthday wish. You know I was like your buddy, closer, greater than your best friend. I've been with you through the hurricane. Damn it, I'll be here when your party ends.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Coronavirus update. I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. More and more businesses are announcing COVID vaccination requirements for their employees. Now, tens of thousands of frontline AT&T employees are going to have to get COVID shots if they want to keep their jobs. The AP's Jackie Quinn.
About 90,000 union employees who work in stores, customers' homes, and other locations will have to have a complete set of shots by February 1st, unless they're cleared for a medical or religious exemption. Managers were previously notified they have to be vaccinated by October 11th. And unlike some employers, AT&T is not offering an option of routine testing. It is requiring COVID vaccinations. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Among the other companies that have announced vaccination requirements for employees, Google, McDonald's, Microsoft, and Disney. I'm Rita Foley.
7:30, the time now. Time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic at this hour, seeing the traffic building on Milo Butler Highway. You'll see that as you get closer to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, north of Harold Pond this morning. Glasgow looking not too bad, but the closer you get to JFK Drive, you'll notice that traffic in the northbound lane. Elsewhere, just some building traffic so far at Carmichael and Blue Hill Road, and just north of Soldier Road on Blue Hill Road, the northbound lanes to the roundabout with Independence Drive. And then in eastern New Providence, some of the major intersections, you'll be seeing some traffic building for you there. That's what we're looking at so far. We'll have another update for you right after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. RBC pleased to announce its main branch, Bay Street, has reopened effective September 20th with hours of operation Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. RBC remains committed to serving you. RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. And time for another check of your weather for today. We've got mid to upper level troughing that continues to enhance shower activity across the islands through tonight, while high pressure will generate gentle to fresh breezes. Boaters should be alert for the risk of rip currents and waterspout activity in or near showers and thunderstorms. For all areas today, your forecast calls for partly sunny, hot, and humid conditions with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, becoming variably cloudy and warm with a few isolated showers or thunderstorms tonight. Small craft caution will come into effect in the northwest and central Bahamas tonight. Temperatures today getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, a weak frontal boundary is expected to move into the northwest Bahamas. High pressure will build behind the front with increasing winds on Saturday. Building swells from Hurricane Sam will affect Atlantic-exposed coastlines. So for tomorrow, Friday, we're looking at variably cloudy conditions with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms for all areas. A bit breezy in the northwest and central Bahamas. Then Saturday, variably cloudy with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms for all areas. A bit breezy in the northwest and central Bahamas again. In the tropics, Hurricane Sam is still out there, but not going to be a threat to anybody, not even Bermuda. It's going to pass east of Bermuda. It is right now several hundred miles east-northeast of the northern Leeward Islands. We've got a new one, Tropical Storm Victor, over the eastern tropical Atlantic. And we've got disorganized showers and thunderstorms that continue to be associated with the trough of low pressure about midway between the Cabo Verde Islands and the Lesser Antilles. It has a 10% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 5 days. We'll continue to watch all of those for you, but that's your Morning Blend weather check. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
prepared for the rainy season with an RBC loan to fund your rainy season essentials. For hurricane shutters, generators, solar power systems, or general home repair, RBC offers a range of flexible and competitive financing solutions. Let us help you get started at rbc.com/Caribbean/get-a-loan. Special conditions apply. Reimagine your rainy season readiness with RBC financing.
Do you need to insure your vehicle at the best price? With the most options and free installment payments, CG Atlantic agents offer affordable coverage for everyone. Just call 677-6422 to find out how you can protect your vehicle with extra options to keep you covered. Why wait? Call CG Atlantic agents today at 677-6422. Visit us online at cgatlanticagents.com or in person at Atlantic House, 2nd Terrace and Collins Avenue. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Best rates, no delays. Best rates, no delays.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy up to 150 megabits per second plus 157 TV channels and unlimited home phone minutes for only $99.99.
Best rates, no delays.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network. Conditions apply.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
Have you heard about the COVID vaccine raffle? If you are vaccinated against COVID-19, you can enter to win amazing prizes like food store gift certificates, hotel stays, beach excursions, and so much more. Even if you are previously vaccinated, you can still enter to win. The COVID vaccine is free, safe, and protects you from severe COVID-19 infections. Don't delay. Get vaccinated today and enter to win. Visit www.vaxbahamas.com to register.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Had no connection, no faith or direction, no. Searching and searching for someone to save my soul. Till you love me, now I'm found, now I'm found, now I'm found. Yeah, you took me to a place, it was safe, it was sound. Lost, I was lost, now I'm found.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Straw with my special guest co-host today, Patrice Fisher. She's telling me to call her Patrice Fisher. Okay. So that's fine. Patrice, great to have you.
Great to be here. Good morning again.
Just a couple more text messages on what we've been talking about so far. We're getting into food portions now. Let's take it over the show. This person says, the problem is that we are obese and we're milking ourselves with what we eat. Okay. We really don't need to eat as much as we do. Those small sizes in the fancy restaurants are the right sizes. overeating and poor eating is causing so many health issues. Back in the day, you could find slim Bahamians. Nowadays, they are hard to find.
That is true. That is true.
Well,
we need to move to better eating.
Yeah.
And exercising.
Now, this person says, Dwight, my mom cooked a small bag of rice and a half pound of sausage for 10 people, and we were filled on 1 can of soda shared between 7, what now? And 1 mint with 5 kids. I still don't know how they did it. I'm amazed. Well,
listen, I told you everything was different back then.
1 mint?
1 mint, yes, I told you, Dwight. You smash the mint up, right, and everybody gets a little piece.
It won't break evenly, though.
That's okay.
So the
oldest one gets
the
the biggest
bigger
piece, right? Yeah, that's how
okay.
it works. You know, like if I told you if we had red and yellow candy, right, the ones that Mortimer sells, that one little red and white candy could serve about 5 people.
I had to have my own.
Yeah, no, it's too much.
Okay. All right. Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, you got to have your own.
All right. All right, this final text here, we want to move on. But when the minister is saying these people are not getting the food, I'm confused. I see a nightmare putting the food distribution back to social services when we all know their service sucks.
Yeah, that is true. It sucks.
Well, it's a new day, so hopefully they'll find some new ways to do things.
No, but even with simple things, social services does not work. So unless he is going to restructure the entire department,
which might be needed.
It is needed. So unless he's willing to do that, and I'm not just talking about, let's open up this place here and this building here and that building there. It's not the building. It's the people you're putting in the building to run these things, you know?
Yep. Well, all right. Let's take these calls quickly, and then we'll get to the next story in the news. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. Good morning to all.
Hi, good morning.
I guess what the government is addressing now, right, the issues that brought them to the election, the food network, the issues that was in the food network, you know, the cost. At least they mentioned about the cost to the government, right? So they're going to try to reduce the cost to the government by going direct, you see, to the suppliers rather than to these third parties, right? And you know, remember the issue was that people had was that the people who were administrating this program, you know, being the people from Life with Key, and not the people like Henschel and Bishop Rowe, you know what I'm saying, who did these things on a regular basis, you know, during ordinary times. You see, that was the issue.
Well, who was it an issue for? Because those things continued and were still needed during this time, during the time when the food assistance program was going
In other
on.
words, that's the rhetoric that they use, you know what I'm saying, as a campaign ploy. You understand what I'm saying? And this thing I don't understand, because they were saying, in other words, they're saying that, well, whoever was distributing this food or who's responsible for administrating of it is benefiting from it themselves. You know, they never mentioned the efficiency of it, you know, distributing the food.
Right.
You see, so that in itself is a problem. It's like everything else. Who gets the jobs? Who gets the jobs? Who gets the contracts? You see, it's some like political thing or some, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some distribution of benefit from being a distributor. You see, and then in normal times with the card, whether it's a card or whether it's a check, man, poor people don't care about those things. Poor people only care that their needs are met.
And that's exactly
you see what I'm saying? Just them living in the ghetto, just them living in the inner city. So what you want them to have no dignity because they live in the inner city? When are you going to address it? You see, have no dignity because they're garbage men. They are made that we need, these services we need, or the truck driver, or, you know, we can't do without labor, menial labor. It can't happen. Okay, like a basketball team can't do without the man on the bench. You see, but you don't see them giving the man on the bench $250 a week.
Okay.
You see, they got to be able to live too. So you got to give poor people dignity and give them wages. You see, and see, It's about the cost. Everything is about the cost of the government. So how do you get this money?
Yeah.
This money people have to be taxed. People, poor behemoths. We have a culture of selfishness. I mean, whether it's for the foreign immigrant, we discriminate the poor immigrant that needs to immigrate. We classify all these legal immigrants and illegal immigrants. An immigrant is an immigrant. You understand me? A poor man is a poor man. We need to take care of our poor people among us. That's, see, Seth, I don't know if you ever been down South Bahamas, right? I'm from the Turks and Caicos. I'm a gardener. If you go down there, right, the way who the gardeners are, see, we don't need for nothing, but see, what we need in this country are people who have advocacy for people that don't have. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Wow. All right. Hey, a lot said there. Definitely. All right. We'll get back to those calls in just a bit. Just want to mention this. The big headline in the Nassau Guardian. Minister would welcome inquiry. The former Prime Minister says spending and promotions were above board. He's talking again. I think he's talked every day this week.
He's found his voice.
My goodness. We wish we'd been able to speak to him about so many things. But okay. All
It's
right.
amazing what opposition can do for one's voice.
The lights are all on when the opposition.
Yeah.
When you're in the opposition room.
He's out of the hot seat.
You see everything clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And my goodness. Okay. So our Rachel Scott writing about this. Former Prime Minister Dr. Ramirez insisting that all public sector promotions that took place ahead of the election were above board. And he said he would welcome a commission of inquiry into his government spending during the COVID-19 pandemic. He said, quote, all our promotions were done transparently and were done fairly. There are commissions that are constitutionally protected, statutory bodies, the Public Service Commission, the Police Service Commission. They make those determinations, and once those are done, that is law, constitutionally protected. And any government that tries to make those institutions somewhat null and void can be challenged immediately. And any individual who feels that the government of the day is victimizing them, there is recourse. Those contracts would be valid. Promotions, likewise, would be valid. Well, Kimsley Ferguson, when he was on the show a couple of days ago, pretty much said the same thing. It is a body that the folks who were the previous Christie administration put that in place, and so that's how they determine there's a criteria that has to be met.
Mm-hmm.
It just can't be your friends and your families and your other peoples who will get the promotions there. It doesn't quite work like that. And so that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but we don't need a commission of inquiry.
It's a lot of time and energy and money.
It's a lot
that
of
would be
money.
wasted.
Yeah, a lot of money that we don't have. We can take that money and feed people.
No, and they can do their audits.
Yeah.
As they should be doing.
Yeah.
And come to the house and run on about it as they always do. So, that's
something to look
that's a
forward
better
to.
way. All right. So that's what the former Prime Minister is saying. Former Prime Minister who's speaking every day now. Wonderful stuff. Maybe we can get him on the show.
He just might come.
Yeah, he might be. He's got some time. All right. The other interesting story is what the new Minister of Education is saying and what the Bahamas Union of Teachers president is saying on the work that has to be done with education. Take a listen to this report, also from our Kyle Joaquin.
The Bahamas Union of Teachers and the Minister of State has zero relationship.
And that's as frank and plain as it'll get, according to BUT President Belinda Wilson. For years, the union has been at odds with the Ministry of Education over numerous issues. However, with a new government and new substantive minister, Glenys Hannah-Martin, at the helm, Wilson says there will be cooperation as the two sides have already had a brief meeting.
My attitude is that I am going to deal directly with the Minister of Education, who is the substantive minister. Now, I see a Minister of State as an internal assistant to the substantive minister. So the Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah-Martin, the Bahamas Union of Teachers, we're looking forward to her setting the tone.
But when it comes to State Minister of Education, Zane Lightbourne, that's not the case. You may recall a few years back, Wilson was suspended as BUT president and Lightbourne became president. Wilson eventually won her court case and got the presidency back. Years later, there is still bad blood between the union's executives and now someone they will have to work with.
And in fact, there are some legal matters between the Bahamas Union of Teachers and the Minister of State, which I will not ventilate publicly. So that is definitely going to be a challenge and an obstacle for the Bahamas Union of Teachers going forward until those matters have been addressed and they are sub judice, so they are active.
Well, we also spoke with Hannah Martin and Lightborn.
I think we are committed to finding the common ground in the interests of the advancement of education in this country. I'm going to do my part to work as best I can, and I'm committed to it.
The hindrances that would have come before us, we put that all behind us. If that was a factor that anyone had doubt about being carried on, we're here because it's a new day for us to make a difference. And we just going to get it done.
Wilson says while she is working in good faith with the ministry, in particular Hannah Martin, for the betterment of education in the country, she says the union's priority is still the fair treatment of teachers.
I believe they know. And I believe the whole Bahamas knows. If you come for the teachers, if you come for the Bahamas Union of Teachers, we will not back down.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Okay. Wow, let bygones be bygones.
I don't think so.
No, apparently not.
That's not going to happen. Not in this season.
Oh, dear.
But this is something to watch. She says she's not going to...
Is it going to be a distraction, though?
I think so.
Away from what is a crisis. We've got students who are just not doing well in this virtual learning environment, and mentally... academically, socially, so many issues.
Belinda Wilson on another show last night, just speaking to how many thousands of students never logged on since the start of this virtual learning. So the students are suffering. I don't know what the plan is going forward to get students back into the classrooms. It seems like, no one is even addressing it. The last minister, and I guess we've yet to hear from this minister, but
on this issue?
Yeah, on this issue.
Well, I suspect we will hear more about encouraging students to get vaccinated as a way to get them back in the classroom come January.
Right.
But we're not exactly hearing the government say that so far. We're hearing medical professionals say they recommend it, but otherwise... nothing, I guess. They don't want to be seen as saying it's required.
Even outside of getting the students vaccinated, what are they doing in the institutions? What are they doing in terms of the stations, the safe stations? Like Belinda Wilson said yesterday, do they have the thermometers for the teachers? Do they have the stations set up where, or the desks in classrooms set up where students will be socially distanced? Is there a plan? And there seems not to be one. When, if you look right to America, the students are back in the classrooms. They've made the necessary steps. So it does fall in the laps of the minister, to get this done so that our students can get back into the classrooms. They are suffering.
Yeah.
Any hour of the day you drive along the streets, you see children of all ages on the streets. They are not in school.
Big problems, problems. Let's take these very quickly. We've got to go to a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning. No, let's take the other call. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Blend. We hear something. Good morning. Hi. No, okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
And good morning to your new guest. Dwight, I got two chat groups.
Morning.
And I was saying from last year, the virtual learning is still working in this country. And I was saying from that time, we shouldn't need to go to school. I see in the city every day, there's girls and young boys up and down, walking up and down, riding bicycles, doing stuff, playing games. You know what I mean? That is wrong. You understand what I'm saying? I'm only churches would get all kind of benefits for the government, and all these big spaces with the bathroom, and all these things. Why can't we just sacrifice and educate our people, man, our children, man? Let's need to stop, man. This greed needs to stop. This services need to stop in this country because at the end of the day, these young people are the future. And thanks for my call, my brother.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Doing well.
I'm your guest. Listen, that virtual learning program under Jeff Lloyd, my son is in the 7th grade, and he is on 11 subjects on virtual learning. Do you think that makes sense at this time when some of the students can't even get on the virtual learning platform?
Wow.
That doesn't make any sense, not at this time. I made a suggestion to Jeff Lloyd when he's on a particular show, and I said to him, Mr. Lloyd, you don't think it'd make more sense to have students do the change the curriculum at this time to a smaller curriculum, and the kids will spend more hours in the English, maths, and whatever are the 2 subjects you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
That is more valuable to them at the time. And I was cut off the show for even saying that.
Oh, wow.
Yes. One more thing, Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
What Obi Richard was speaking about the food program being too expensive. What he said, I listened to that particular clip in what he said. He said because they're going to a third-hand vendor, why can't the government go directly to the source and buy the food, which makes a lot of sense. $800,000 per month, and you're paying the third-hand vendor to get the food, and you could get that food directly from the source, even much cheaper than that.
And then what?
Pardon me?
And then what?
What you mean, then what?
The government buys the food directly, and then
Yes,
what?
the
Who
government
manages
buys-
it?
Pardon me?
Who manages it?
What you mean, who manages? The same program that they have to manage the food, the social service program can manage the food the same way. They can have inspectors placed at a particular warehouse and manage the food the way they want it to distribute it the way they want it to be distributed.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he's saying instead of he's going to give the Bahamian people dignity and the old folks dignity by bringing the card system back instead of them standing up in the hot sun to collect a few dollars, which I think makes 1,000% a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
yeah, that part definitely. Sure. Thank you very much. And like I said, well, if you can do that, let's do it for everybody. If you, the former part, the point that he raised there,
Right.
I mean, because we could all use a break. It's very costly.
My concern is just that when you put all of this food, anyway, let's go on.
No? All right, let's quickly see if we can get through those and some of your messages here. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, yes,
Good
we
morning.
can hear you.
And good morning to your guest. You know, Mr. Strachan, the gentleman who called and talked about the inner city, he's correct, right? And I heard you mention it the other day when you humanized the social situation with the Haitians, right? But, there's an interesting paradigm that has surfaced, right? Let's say a 1-year-old going into primary school for the first time, right? And a single mother, or people who don't have someone around to augment or assist them with the online process, right? This is what really is hurtful the most, I have a 5-year-old, so I have a small business in the yard, so I'm able to be there, but I can't work at a certain time, and I have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine someone with 1, 2 kids. That means you have to. I'm contemplating. I have to get someone. I have to drop. It's still like preschool because I have to get someone who could deal with that. My significant other, they work also. So what I'm saying is I'm looking at the impediments and the social repercussions, right, of this global construct, right? And we as sheep, I'm a sheep, but I'm a well-reared sheep who cannot be misled and spoon-fed foolishness. When you see the real agenda that I've been discussing for years on the radio that people don't seem to conceive what's going on in the global community, right? Now imagine the fact that this is the paradigm that they're creating, create the forced vaccine mandate, right? So you're vaccinating people, and post-vax, they can infect and still contract the disease, right? And still be infectious, right? Even though the statistics have shown about 45% of the world, the people are asymptomatic and have COVID. Now, the fact that the vaccine, people can still be infected post-vaccinations. They know that this would cause continual mutations. The fact that people don't, when you see, let me show genetics go. The reason for the gametes, hold on, Dwight, let me explain this, please. The reason for the gametes, you and a woman exchanging genetics, is for the next species to last longer. Viruses do the same thing. They know these characteristics of viruses. So you're just allowing more mutations to happen, and they're relying on the unvaccinated, when it will happen anyhow, because mutations is just a way of survival. I don't want to be rude, right? But the doctor you had on yesterday, she seems very familiar with the new antiviral pill, right? For almost a year now, I've said, why haven't they taken an antiviral approach? which is and this is sad that most people can't see what's going on. Now they have a pill that can neutralize the virus, which is an antiviral pill that inhibits the protein a factory sequence and inhibits the virus from replicating. And this should have always been the approach, an antiviral approach, right? But people can't see what's going on. Dr. Gerd van den Bosch in Escapology is the order of the day because they're showing where the antibodies from the original COVID strain and
We've got to go to the news. We've got to go to the news. But we'll look and thank you for bringing that there, though we weren't really talking about that at all. But okay. We're going to break for the news. When we come back, we are talking with Dr. Gregory Pinto about prostate cancer awareness, about your health, what you need to know. Stay tuned for that.
It's Thursday, September 30th, 2021.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 4224796. And now at 8:23, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got mid to upper level troughing that will continue to enhance shower activity across the islands through tonight, while high pressure will generate gentle to fresh breezes. For all areas, look for partly sunny, hot, and humid conditions with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, becoming variably cloudy and warm with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms tonight. Small craft caution will come into effect for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight. Temperatures today getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, a weak frontal boundary is expected to move into the northwest Bahamas, with high pressure building behind the front, increasing winds on Saturday. Building swells from Hurricane Sam will affect Atlantic exposed coastlines as well. So for tomorrow, Friday, we're expecting variably cloudy conditions with a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. A bit breezy in the northwest and central Bahamas. Pretty much the same for Saturday. Variably cloudy, a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, and a bit breezy in the northwest and central islands. In the tropics, we've got Hurricane Sam, still a major hurricane out there in the Atlantic, going to be moving well east of all the islands, including Bermuda, over the next few days, but the swells will continue to impact Atlantic-exposed islands over the next few days. Then we've got Tropical Storm Victor over the eastern tropical Atlantic, and we're watching a couple of other areas, including disorganized showers and thunderstorms that are in association with a trough of low pressure about midway between the Cabo Verde Islands and the Lesser Antilles. Right now, that has about a 10% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 5 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And in your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, we've got, as usual, the heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. You'll be seeing that in the northbound lanes this morning. Elsewhere, Gladstone Road is busy for you as well, the northbound lanes to John F. Kennedy Drive. Then we've got Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic there, especially north of Soldier Road, the northbound lanes to Independence Drive, which is also backed up, and westbound to that roundabout. And further south on Blue Hill near Carmichael and near the junction with Cowpen Road and Zion Boulevard. In other parts of the island, we are seeing traffic building at the major intersections, like Prince Charles and Fox Hill Road. That's looking pretty busy for you, and Prince Charles and Beatrice Avenue, Prince Charles and Soldier Road, Marathon Road, East-West Highway, and Robinson Road, especially northbound on Marathon. And then pockets along Wolf Road at the major intersections. Eastern Road as well, west of Fox Hill Road as you approach Johnson Road. You'll be seeing that. And pockets along Shirley Street westbound, of course, this morning. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert. Brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, which wishes to advise its valued clients that its main branch on Bay Street has reopened and remains committed to serving you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. And we are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong, along with my guest co-host, Patrice Fisher. And this morning we are changing gears now, talking about your health, talking about prostate cancer. It is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. September is the last day of September, but it's never a bad time to talk about prostate cancer. And Dr. Gregory Pinto is back with us, telling us off air. I mean, I don't know if people understand this, but this is the number one cancer killer in the Bahamas. Is that right?
It's the number one cancer in terms of incidence by far in this country. I know we get a lot of coverage and a lot of promotion related to breast cancer, and it needs even more in terms of breast cancer awareness. But prostate cancer is almost the forgotten pandemic in this country. It's the number one incidence of any cancer in this country by far. And for men, in 2020, 46.9% of all cancers for men were prostate cancer. Overall, for all cancers, for prostate cancer, it represented 22.7% of all cancers. I mean, that's overwhelming. Yeah. Breast cancer was 18%.
My goodness. Wow.
But the take-home message is that prostate cancer of all cancers is probably the easiest cancer to detect,
right,
and it has the best survival rate. At 5 years, if you have early, low-risk, organ-confined disease, your 5-year survival is 100% or near to 100%. At 10 years, the cancer-specific survival is 96 to 98%. Very few cancers you can say that.
Right.
In fact, we have so many tools that can pick up prostate cancer at such an early stage that we have almost the problem of overdiagnosis of clinically insignificant prostate cancer. So the fact that we have hundreds of men being diagnosed every year, 200 plus with prostate cancer, and the vast majority of them are in an advanced and incurable state, when we have 90 to 100 men dying every year of prostate cancer,
Insane.
and almost every one of those deaths is preventable if we had picked it up early, it's a travesty.
Very slow-growing cancer.
It's a very slow-growing cancer. Very few cancers are aggressive, although as a population, we do have all the risk factors for a more aggressive form of prostate cancer. Age is the number one risk factor. Advancing age, obviously, as you get older, that's the greatest risk factor. But unfortunately, being of African ancestry, you actually have almost a different disease entity, a more aggressive form of the disease. So 1 in 6 men are going to get prostate cancer in their lifetime in the Bahamas. In fact, in the United Kingdom, they estimate that 1 in 4 men of African or Caribbean ancestry are going to get prostate cancer in their lifetime.
1 in
4. 1 in 4. Your chance of dying of prostate cancer is 2.6 times greater than your Caucasian counterpart. If you are African ancestry, Caribbean ancestry, your chance of getting prostate cancer is going to be 6 to 7 years on average earlier than your Asian, Hispanic, or Caucasian counterpart. So,
do we know why that is? Is it?
It's not. There are many confounding factors. A lot of it is genetics. In fact, if we look at with our own population, there's a very strong link between breast cancer and prostate cancer in terms of inheritance. We look at BRCA gene, breast cancer-related gene. Men also inherit the BRCA gene mutation. There's a type 1 and there's a type 2. we know that if you have the BRCA gene mutation number 1, your chance of getting prostate cancer in your lifetime is 3 times greater. If you get the BRCA gene 2 mutation, your chance of getting prostate cancer in your lifetime is 8 times greater.
Wow.
You're almost inevitably going to get prostate cancer. So we have to look at that subset of patients, and we need to even promote genetic testing. We need to modernize urology, modernize medicine in this country, where we're being proactive. We're not just waiting and see why does my neighbor or my cousin all of a sudden at 45 get prostate cancer. Why is my 55-year-old brother being diagnosed when he was a picture of health with aggressive prostate cancer, which is incurable? We have to look at the genetics.
All right, so I know there were a lot of women a few years back who did the testing, the genetic testing. Would you recommend that for men as well?
Very much so, particularly if you have a strong familial history, particularly if you have men in your family, first-degree relatives in particular, who have been diagnosed early with prostate cancer, less than 50. If you have several females in your family who have gotten breast cancer, that in itself should be an indicator for you as a male in that family to get genetic testing, looking for the BRCA gene mutation, so we can be extremely diligent. If you have a brother or uncle or father who's gotten prostate cancer before the age of 50, we need to start screening you from 35.
Right.
The general population, because we're of African ancestry, we need to be screening from the age of 40. And I want to address the elephant in the room. Why are Bahamian men in droves in the tens of thousands not going for prostate cancer screening? It's because of the idea of the violation, the dreaded digital rectal exam. Particularly in the last 5 years, there's been evidence, and in fact, everything in medicine goes by protocol. We follow governing bodies. So I'll look at as close as the American Urology Association, which have advocated, and I'm going to quote them, they'll say that there is no evidence that we in fact need to do the digital rectal exam.
Wow.
So as they'll say in relation to the early detection of prostate cancer in the clinical guideline, as a primary screening tool, there is no evidence that the DRE, digital rectal exam, is beneficial. But DRE is in men referred for an elevated PSA, which is a blood test, prostate-specific antigen, may be useful as a secondary test. So if you have a 40-year-old, a 42-year-old coming for a routine prostate cancer screening, there is no governing body. If you look at the European Association of Urology and every other governing body related to urology, particularly since 2016, they have found that there is no evidence that it improves or reduces morbidity or mortality related to prostate cancer. So I think there's a misconception even amongst my physician colleagues, particularly primary care physicians, that prostate cancer means that you're going to find an abnormal digital finding on a prostate exam. In fact, we want to pick up prostate cancer when clinically the prostate feels normal, when there is no asymmetry, when there is no nodularity of the prostate. Even if we do feel a nodule, it doesn't necessarily mean you have prostate cancer.
Right.
So it's not going to change your treatment paradigm. So really, there is no benefit at all. If you have elevated PSA, it can be advocated as a secondary tool. If we are staging someone, yes, it has a role. But to keep a 40-year-old, to keep a 45-year-old, to keep a 50-year-old from ever coming for any prostate cancer screening, which can save their life because they're afraid of the homosexual connotation, the feeling of violation, because they're afraid of getting a digital rectal exam, which is not going to provide any benefit whatsoever. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. And I'm supported. I just named the American Urology Association.
Right.
So this is the information age. Obviously, you don't want to be Dr. Google, but when you're looking at governing bodies, look at recognized governing bodies.
Absolutely.
And follow what they're promoting.
I want to talk more about that fear in a bit, but I remember a few years back, and I think you might have been on the show to talk about that as well. There were some concerns about PSAs and false positives. Let's talk about that.
So the PSA is not a very specific or sensitive test. It's one of the tools that we have in our armament, but it's not specific for prostate cancer. It's specific to the gland. It's a protein that's produced. So if you have inflammation, infection, if you have incomplete bladder emptying, where your half full bladder is pressing on the on your prostate, which is anatomically right underneath your bladder. That in itself is going to cause your PSA to be elevated. If you have a very large prostate, let's say, so a normal size prostate is about 20 grams. Let's say you have a 150 gram prostate. The benign element of that prostate, even if you have no prostate cancer whatsoever, your PSA can be elevated. It can be 8, 10, 15, because the BPH, the benign prostate hyperplasia, the benign element of your huge prostate can contribute to your PSA. So we have more specific blood tests. We have iso-PSA. We look at PSA density, PSA velocity. We don't look at the PSA value in isolation. That's why it's important to get a value every year from the age of 40. We look at one value compared to the next. The quote-unquote, and this is age-dependent as well, normal PSA is between 0 and 4. 4 to 10 is a gray area. Obviously, if you're 65, your average PSA is going to be higher as normal than if you're 35 or 40. But if you have a normal PSA, but there's a big jump from one year to the next, that in itself may be an indication of prostate cancer. So then we need to do more further screening. We have PSA, PET CT scan. We have 3T MRI. 3T MRI is readily available at Doctors Hospital. That's the Rolls-Royce, the gold standard in terms of imaging of prostate cancer. We can pick up prostate cancer when it's clinically insignificant. We can pick up a small nodule. So modern medicine, first we start with the blood tests. If there's abnormal PSA, we want to rule out what potentially can be the cause of that elevated PSA. Is it infection? Is it a large prostate? Is it incomplete bladder emptying? What was your previous PSA a year ago? Compare one with the next. We might want to do a 4K score, which is another blood test. We might want to do an iso-PSA. We might want to do a free to total ratio. If there's any concern at all, we'll do a 3T MRI. That will determine whether we need to do biopsies or not. So we can only diagnose prostate cancer if we have a pathological diagnosis. So years ago, anyone with an elevated PSA, 20 years ago, we would just do, in urology worldwide, we would just do prostate biopsies. Since we have 3T MRI, since we have PSA PET CT scan, in the United States alone, they found 70% of prostate biopsies were not necessary. They did not detect any clinically significant prostate cancer. So we can avoid doing unnecessary prostate biopsies. If we need to do a prostate biopsy, we use the information we get cognitively, or we have actually software where we can on real time use that MRI imaging to do targeted biopsies and make sure that we get an accurate diagnosis. So the whole thing of doing a digital rectal exam, please men, you do not have to fear getting prostate cancer screening. All it requires is the extra tick in the box by your physician in terms of getting a prostate-specific antigen blood test. We need to know what your value is from 1 year to the next.
Right.
Don't even skip a year. Don't even skip 2 years. You should be getting annual blood tests every year anyway.
You need to do it every year.
You need to do it every year. You have to determine, you need to see a physician every year.
Yeah.
There's so much in the way of non-communicable diseases, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, high cholesterol. Men are really, the most important thing for Bahamian men, we've spoken it before, is their erection.
Right.
If they want to keep their erection, they need to make sure that if they get their weight under control, make sure they have healthy living, healthy diet, their body mass index is in the normal range, make sure they do in fact have hypertension or diabetes or both, or high cholesterol, if we have an element of atherosclerosis or coronary artery disease, we address that and make sure that they don't present 5 years after the onset with irreversible erectile dysfunction.
Now, we were talking about this off here. Patrice was asking, what are the symptoms? And as you said before, that's the problem.
The most frightening thing is, in relation to prostate cancer, is that there are little to no symptoms until it's too late. So you'll feel perfectly fine. It's like hypertension, a silent killer. Until it's too late, and until you have spread to your spine, to your bone, until it's caused obstruction of your kidneys and you have constitutional symptoms where you feel weak, you're losing weight, you have bony pain. They're men. I see it every month, and it's a tragedy. 53-year-old, 58-year-old, 62-year-old, nagging back pain for months, sometimes years. One day they just they're waking up to go to work and they can't walk. They're paraplegic because the prostate cancer has spread and caused spinal compression, and they're, in many cases, unfortunately, irreversibly paraplegic.
Right.
And then even then, there are men I've seen will stay home 6 days and they can't use their legs, and then they'll present to hospital.
And so it's only it's as simple as just having your annual
As simple-
physical every year.
Every year, and in terms of, we're not going to do it's advocated you don't need to do for routine prostate cancer screening, you don't need to do the dreaded DRE.
And even if you are showing symptoms, you still don't need to do that.
So, as I said, early prostate cancer has no symptoms. So when we talk about symptoms, a lot of people will think of, okay, all of a sudden they have nocturia. They're waking up 4 times in the night to urinate. They're not emptying their bladder completely. They have urinary urgency, frequency. They might have recurrent urinary tract infections. Statistically speaking, that's going to be related to benign disease. Every man, by the time he's 80, he's going to have some element of an obstructive prostate. 50, 60% of men in their 50s are going to have that. 70% of 70-year-olds are going to have obstructive or irritative urinary symptoms where they never enter their bladder, where they have to know where the next bathroom is, where they're having sleep deprivation because they're waking up throughout the night. Statistically speaking, that's related to benign disease. So a lot of men will actually stay home because they're afraid that's a sign of prostate cancer, when we can medically and effectively treat those symptoms of incomplete bladder emptying related to benign disease. And you don't have to wake up in the night to urinate. You don't have to pull over to the side of the road to urinate. You don't have to drive around, and many taxi drivers do that, in my experience, with a container because they can't even pull over to the side of the road to urinate in.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Wow. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Blend. We're talking with Dr. Gregory Pinto. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing well.
Dr. Pinto, I am one of your patients. I'd like to know, when would you be starting the back at the Princess Margaret Hospital, seeing patients, please? My medication is just my last month.
Yeah, I'm sorry that's above my pay grade. So those decisions are made on a day-by-day basis by administration based on the fact that COVID-19 has overwhelmed the hospital. Now there are, 140 plus patients in the hospital. Just opening up the clinics and having people in a small area in itself puts patients at risk, staff at risk. So the system is overwhelmed. It's collapsed. We're having no elective clinics, really no elective surgeries for months and months now. So obviously, this COVID-19 is indirectly creating a lot of issues for patients with cancers that are advancing, patients who are not following with their hypertensive follow-ups. Their diabetes is out of control. People are afraid, even if they have symptoms of a stroke, a heart attack, are afraid to come into hospital. They have a diabetic infected foot, they'll stay home until we have to basically come in weeks later and they have to amputate it. So the indirect or morbidity and mortality related to this COVID-19 pandemic is shocking and very depressing.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. And again, you don't know how much longer. I mean, other things are opening up.
It all depends on the surge. It all depends. Obviously, we have staff shortages. We have issues with trying to get medication. We're just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But when we talk about prostate cancer, I think another fear is, and this is from years ago, 30 years ago, when you had prostate cancer, really the only option was radiation or some major surgery that required a long recovery or open surgery where you would lose your erections. Modern urology is now minimally invasive. Everything is minimally invasive. That means almost every surgery we do is outpatient, or at worst, you might have to stay in hospital overnight. So there's so many treatment modalities available. We're even pushing towards focal therapy, where, for example, you can have surgery, but the surgery can be done minimally invasively. Right here, we can do it laparoscopically. Small little keyhole incisions, using long instruments, looking up on the screen, high-definition screen that's magnified tenfold. That patient can be up and about within a couple hours and go home the very next morning.
My goodness.
They can be to work 2 days later.
No downtime.
No, we can do brachytherapy. We can put low-dose or high-dose radioactive seeds into the prostate gland to kill only the prostate cancer cells. That is done in a 40-minute procedure as an outpatient without a single cut, stitch, or recovery. You can get that done on a Saturday, go to work on a Sunday.
That's amazing.
And your prostate cancer is cured at a rate comparable with using even the Da Vinci robotic-assisted prostatectomy, which is a surgery. So we can do HIFU, which is high-intensity focused ultrasound, where we use heat waves to destroy the prostate cancer. There's focal cryotherapy. We can essentially freeze the prostate cancer. There's image modulated radiation, where you can have radiation done effectively in a shorter period of time, which is painless. So there's so many different treatment modalities available to treat prostate cancer. You don't even necessarily need surgery. But the take-home message is the earlier we can pick it up, the better chance that we can maintain your quality of life in terms of your erectile function, in terms of maintaining your urinary continence. So that in itself should be a motivating factor. If you have advanced prostate cancer and it's enveloping the nerves that run in the pelvis that allow you to get an erection, obviously we're going to have to take the nerves. Life over leisure. We want to save your life. We'll worry about the erections later. But if you have early disease, organ-confined disease, we don't even have to go near the nerves. We can spare the nerves. You can have excellent erections. Brachytherapy. As I mentioned, we put low-dose or high-dose radioactive seeds into the prostate gland only to kill the prostate cancer cells. That treatment modality, your rate of maintaining erections is as high as 94%.
People are asking if these procedures are expensive. Is there a significant cost to it?
So in anything, most of these, obviously I'm available at Princess Margaret Hospital. Right now, there's an issue with getting things done, but...
Would this be considered
the good news, no. Well, you need it from many of these things. For example, surgery, you need a bed.
Right.
Post up. What bed do we have?
Oh, dear.
What bed do we have?
So if there are no clinics there, where do men go?
A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are suffering. The local clinics are being overwhelmed, but a lot of people are suffering. The hospital itself, Doctors Hospital, is just opening up in the last few weeks in terms of elective surgery, and even that, if you need a post-operative bed, really, unless it's a cancer case, and there happens to be a bed available, we can't even do it.
Wow.
But in case of men just getting screened?
A local clinic was usually the place of the screening anyway, because that is still going on, although they're overwhelmed.
Right.
They're still overwhelmed. So, for example, for urology, the tertiary hospital, Princess Margaret Hospital, they'll go to the local clinic, get their workup, and then get referred, if necessary, to urologies at PMH. We're not going to see someone for the first time in terms of screening at PMH. We're just overwhelmed with referrals.
There has to be somewhere, external that patients can go to see, let's say, a Dr. Pinto.
Well, I'm just hoping that COVID numbers go down.
Things change.
That things change, and that we'll be able to... 90 to 100 men are dying, and most of them are unnecessarily dying of prostate cancer every year, where there are too many advanced cases of prostate cancer. It's probably the easiest cancer to treat.
My goodness. Okay, caller, I see you. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more with Dr. Pinto in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
You're just as old as you feel. Even though I move it slow, everything I do is twice as sweet, just like wine.
Now that your age is not everything, now that your kids call you for advice, now that you can achieve anything you set your mind to, why stop? Nourish your strength and energy with Ensure. Ensure provides protein, antioxidants, key vitamins and minerals to support your immune system. Now that it's your moment to enjoy your vitality, why stop? Your life, your health, your Ensure.
You've tried everything. ASUS, with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
At Wendy's, our food is made to make you crave. Crave our all-new Big Bacon Cheddar Burger. This melt-in-your-mouth sandwich is what cheesy bacon dreams are made of. It starts with your choice of fresh, never-frozen beef or a chicken patty topped with American cheese, applewood smoked bacon, bacon jam, onion tanglers, and creamy cheddar cheese spread on an all-toasted cheddar bun. Available for a limited time only. Stop in today for that flavor you crave. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Be prepared for the rainy season with an RBC loan to fund your rainy season essentials. For hurricane shutters, generators, solar power systems, or general home repair, RBC offers a range of flexible and competitive financing solutions. Let us help you get started at rbc.com/Caribbean/get-a-loan. Special conditions apply. Reimagine your rainy season readiness with RBC financing.
Have you heard about the COVID vaccine raffle? If you are vaccinated against COVID-19, you can enter to win amazing prizes like food store gift certificates, hotel stays, beach excursions, and so much more. Even if you are previously vaccinated, you can still enter to win. The COVID vaccine is free, safe, and protects you from severe COVID-19 infections. Don't delay. Get vaccinated today and enter to win. Visit www.vaxbahamas.com to register.
Hurricane season is here. If you're not prepared, it can really turn your life upside down. Fortunately, there's CG Atlantic General. Our people are here, ready to assist at a moment's notice, with protection like alternative accommodation for those who are displaced due to a storm. It's our priority to make sure you have what you need when you need it most. So when your life gets turned upside down, we can help to turn it around. CG Atlantic General. Good like that. Security and General Insurance Company Limited, trading as CG Atlantic General. Contact a CG Atlantic General broker today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I feel all broke up, ain't sleep all night.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Patrice Fisher. We are talking with urologist and laparoscopic surgeon Dr. Gregory Pinto about prostate cancer. And let's take this call quickly, and we've got a few other things to talk to Dr. Pinto about. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. Dwight, doctor, I have a question for Dr. Pinto.
Hi.
Dr. Pinto, this is your boy. Listen, I know the clinics are closed, right? But I heard you. I was listening to you speak. I always do. And so, the fact that the hospital doesn't have an MRI machine. I've had 2 biopsies, right? And, I always schedule for a PSA, right? The question is, if they care, right, why is it that MRIs are not made more available? Because the biopsy is quite invasive. I wouldn't like to say on the phone the side effects that I had from the biopsy. But, it's very painful. I've had a 70-year-old man break up running out of the room after he started landing with the needle. So since the MRI is non-invasive and you can detect cancer, why is it that it's not readily available? And I want to know if the CAT scan, I guess the CAT scan can pick it up, but which one is more efficacious in detecting cancer? And I have another question. Have you heard about this new treatment for cancer in which the natural killer cells attack the cancer cells? A lady named Elijah Kopek, a PhD out of Central Florida. She's doing this new study. And how would that help us? Because the cost obviously means telling us go to the grave. We are a failed state, Dr. Pinto. We are a failed state. You have to pay all this money to go to the clinics for your children. You have to pay the private doctor to go to you. You have more than one kid. What's going on? We are a failed state. And these people running around with letters of the alphabet. Have a good day, man. That's the answer.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Very good points. Yeah, it's if you think you're frustrated, imagine that's all I see every day for years and years, and things are only continuing to get worse. We have nursing shortages where we can't even operate every week because we just don't have the staff to do that. We have this wonderful critical care block, new operating theaters, the best theaters in the region, but we just don't have the staff to be able to do an elective case every single week, which is ridiculous. There are issues in level of equipment that it's shocking. I I said I recently met with the new Prime Minister and the Minister of Health, Dr. Darvill, and I'm very encouraged for the first time in years that they want to make a change and that we're going to try and buy vital equipment, particularly for the treatment of prostate cancer and urology equipment that we need. I've mentioned many times that I believe that we have one of the worst equipped urology departments in the world. Definitely worse than any other country. Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad have vital equipment we don't have. We don't even have pediatric scopes to deal with pediatric patients. We don't have a laser machine that works where 15% of the population are getting kidney stones. We don't have prostate biopsy guides. For the last 3 years, to get a prostate biopsy done in this country, I've had to donate the prostate biopsy guides myself. We don't have basic equipment to deal with major kidney stones. So I'm glad that you mentioned MRI. I've worked out a significantly reduced price for self-pay patients to get MRI, and any patient that who can afford it in the public system, I'll get an MRI before we do anything in terms of prostate biopsy, in terms of further screening for prostate cancer. So I'll even go further. Anytime you have prostate cancer, you need to get a bone scan as a fundamental imaging in terms of treatment and for the staging of the prostate cancer. We have no bone scan in this country. We don't have any renogram. We don't have any urodynamics. The list of things that we don't have, I've literally sent patients who are here legally back to Haiti because I know Haitian urologists who have better equipment than that I have at PMH.
What?
Wow.
So it goes. I've volunteered. I've been throughout the world. I've been very blessed. I've done outreaches in rural Europe, India and Africa. We have worse equipment at PMH than even in rural India and in rural Africa.
Wow.
Our whole department is actually almost at a standstill. There's a piece of medical imaging equipment called a C-arm. The country has 3 C-arms. That's used by urology extensively for any kidney stone surgery. It's used as a fundamental important imaging device in operating theaters for orthopedics for every fracture that they're going to repair. It's used by cardiovascular and thoracic surgeons in terms of vascular repair, in terms of urgent life-saving limb surgery. It's used for endoscopically for gastroenterology service. There is one, and I'll use this generously, functioning C-arm for the entire Commonwealth of the Bahamas, where now it's even cutting off. So I've literally, at least a third of my operating list electively at PMH, sometimes a half of my list is waiting on this C-arm, which is being used by orthopedics. Then vice versa. Orthopedics is wasting half of their list because there's not one functioning C-arm. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. I'm hopefully it's a new day that things will continue to improve. I know that the government is strapped for cash, obviously, with this COVID-19 pandemic. Hopefully, we can do a public-private partnership. I think if a lot of businesses and entities and blessed financial individuals would realize the catastrophic situation, and particularly at urology department at PMH, they would be able to help donate some equipment. I mean, when we have people walking around with kidney stones with stents that we can't even manage because we don't have a functioning laser machine, where they've become dependent on opiates and narcotics just to survive. I mean, we're destroying lives.
All right, so that sounds like a pretty good reason to get the screening so that you don't end up reliant on these machines.
Correct.
And you were talking during the break about another reason, the hormone issue, if you do present with prostate cancer.
Yeah, so I'll also like to address what the caller says. Yes, immunotherapy is a recognized treatment. In fact, studies have shown that for African and African ancestry individuals, the immunotherapy, but it's for advanced prostate cancer, that's gone beyond the confines of the organ itself. African ancestry individuals, men, actually do better than their Caucasian, Hispanic, and Asian counterparts for immunotherapy. So that's a bright point in terms of African ancestry men, although we have a more aggressive form of the disease. If you have advanced disease, many of the drugs and managements that we use for advanced disease actually work better for men of African ancestry. But if we do have advanced disease, the number one treatment is going to be hormonal deprivation. we want to starve the prostate cancer of testosterone. What that means is that all of a sudden your erections are gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have no sexual drive. You're going to lose your muscle mass. You're going to put on weight. You're going to have hot flashes. You're going to have brittle bones where you're going to be at risk of having fractures of your bones.
Mm-hmm.
Your quality of life is just going to go out the window. Say goodbye to your erections. So that in itself should motivate you to at least get a PSA prostate-specific antigen blood test every year from the age of 40, so we can pick up prostate cancer early. We can offer you, when it's necessary, in many cases we pick it up so early that we can actively surveil you until the prostate cancer becomes clinically significant. We can offer you minimally invasive prostate cancer curative treatment where you can go on and have another 25, 30 years of good quality of life, enjoy your golden years, your retirement, see your grandchildren get married, graduate from university, instead of dying needlessly at 60, 50, 65, and it's a long, prolonged, expensive, painful death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Many times you're going to die from renal failure. The pain from having bony metastasis is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So please use that as a motivator. Baby men want their erections. Get prostate cancer screening with a blood test. If you want to argue what I've mentioned, look at the American Urology Association in terms of their protocol for prostate cancer screening. You don't need the DRE. We're not going to violate you. Mm-hmm. Other physicians can argue that point. Since 2016, almost every major governing body, including the American Urology Association, European Association of Urology, have said that there is no clinical benefit, there's no reduction in morbidity or mortality if we don't do the DRE.
Yeah, yeah. 45 now. I've been doing PSA since I was 35. I'm not sure if I needed to, but anyway, but I've been doing it, and so this is so, you don't even have to think
it's
about
so
it.
fundamentally important.
Yeah, just a blood test.
Just prostate cancer is the number one cancer in this country. It's not getting enough coverage. That information is not being imparted to the public.
Oh.
Almost half of men who are diagnosed with cancer every year, it's from prostate cancer. Yeah. We can cure you of prostate cancer. We pick it up early.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Dr. Pinto, definitely we do not need to wait till Prostate Cancer Awareness Month to talk about it, and we appreciate you because you often come on and talk about these things, and we look forward to the next discussion. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Please get your PSA starting at the age of 40 every single year.
Come on, guys. And we need the women to get behind the men as well.
Yeah, get behind the men. When you go to do your annuals, take your husbands, your boyfriends, your significant others, and let them get a blood test.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
We have primary care on the level of NHI. The blood tests are free.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Free.
Come on.
There's no excuse.
Come on, folks.
There's absolutely no excuse.
Yeah. Thank you again, Dr. Pinto.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break for news. When we come back, we're going to do the drawing for the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle, and we're going to be talking with the hotel union about Atlantis and paying for COVID tests. We're going to be getting into a lot. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, September 30th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, joined by my special co-host today, my guest co-host, Patrice Fisher. And this morning, we're going to be talking with the president of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Darren Woods. He's going to join us in just a second. Before we get to that, though, I have to do this. We got into such a great discussion with Dr. Pinto that we are a little off our time, but we need to do the drawing for the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. And I'm sure you all are very excited to find out if you are the winners today. So let's get our vaccination raffle music in here so that we can celebrate with those who will be named the winners. And the prizes today, we've got two great prizes. Prize number one is a $250 gift certificate at Sports Center. Oh, man.
Oh, that would be perfect
that
for
would
me.
have been amazing,
Oh,
eh?
my goodness. I could get me about 2 running pants.
Then only you gotta stop. I could have used that last month. Anyway, and then prize two is a $50 Miniso is how you say it? Miniso gift certificate. Yeah. Okay. So two great prizes. Let's do prize number 2 first. The $50 Miniso gift certificate. The winner is Joel Hepburn. Joel Hepburn, you've won the $50 Miniso gift certificate. Congratulations, Joel Hepburn. You'll be hearing from our partners at the U.S. Embassy shortly on how you can get your gift there. The $50 gift certificate at Miniso, Joel Hepburn. And the big prize, the $250 gift certificate at the Sports Center. The winner is Samantha Cox-Bow. Samantha Cox-Bow, you've won the $250 gift certificate with the Sports Center. Congratulations to you, Samantha Cox-Bow. All right, wonderful stuff. Again, the U.S. Embassy will be contacting you, and we thank them so much for this amazing initiative. And you can be a part of this, right, Patrice? You can be part of this. All you have to do is, if you're vaccinated or even partially vaccinated, even if you got vaccinated abroad, just enter vaxbahamas.com, and you could win some of these amazing prizes.
And it's so simple to do.
Yeah,
The form takes like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes to complete.
It's definitely shorter than
And
that.
you can enter all of your family
Yeah.
who's vaccinated or partially vaccinated. Because
we
I
go.
did that, and I'm just waiting to hear the names.
One day, we'll be drawing another name tomorrow at 8 o'clock hour. All right, so congratulations to you all, and good luck to the rest of you with the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. All right, so let's get into Morning Blend business, and it's been an issue of great concern for the past few months, what's happening with companies requiring people to be getting tested. And Atlantis is now saying they're going to be passing on that bill for testing to staff. Joining us, as we said, is the president of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Darren Woods. Darren Woods, good morning. Great to have you with us. Yep, we're going to get Darren connected. Okay, while we do that, let's read the statement from Atlantis, which came out yesterday, September 29th. The statement from Audrey Oswell, the president and managing director of Atlantis Paradise Island, saying, "Dear colleagues, over the past 18 months, COVID-19 has had a significant and immeasurable impact on every member of our Atlantis family. We've done everything we can to protect our health and safety in the workplace during this difficult period. We've also taken every step possible to foster an environment where our guests feel confident and comfortable returning to Atlantis and the Bahamas. Travel and tourism are our livelihood and serve as the foundation of the Bahamian economy. We know the safest and most effective way to fight COVID-19 is through vaccination. I'm grateful to many of you who've taken steps to become fully vaccinated. By getting the free and widely available vaccine, you are protecting yourself and your family, colleagues, our guests, and the community from COVID-19. You're also playing an essential role in helping achieve a COVID-free Bahamas, which is the only path forward for our economy and tourism to thrive again. Some of you have decided not to get vaccinated and instead participate in weekly testing to ensure that you are healthy on the job. As we have shared since July, Atlantis will not pay the cost of testing indefinitely. We will also not continue to encourage testing as an alternative to vaccination. Effective October 1st, 2021, which is tomorrow, Atlantis joins many other Bahamian companies in requiring team members who are not vaccinated to be financially responsible for their weekly rapid antigen test. We have secured a highly discounted rate of $16.50 a week for unvaccinated team members to receive this test. You can continue to schedule your test via the same link as you do now. Once you schedule, you will receive an email with instructions on paying for the test online. Shared responsibility means we all take necessary steps to protect one another, Atlantis, and the country we call home. This issue is more significant than any one individual or Atlantis. It impacts our family, friends, neighbors, and the industry. Atlantis is proud to join with a growing number of Bahamas-based and international companies in taking the same approach in putting the community's health and the economy first. Continue to stay safe. From Audrey Oswell, the president and managing director of Atlantis Paradise Island. Okay, so now we have Darren Woods joining us. Darren Woods, welcome back. Great to have you with the show.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. And I didn't get the name of your guest.
Patrice Fisher. Patrice
Good
Fisher.
morning. Patrice, good morning and good morning, Bahamas. And Dwight, permit me to say a happy birthday to your co-host, Pamela Musgrove.
Yes.
She's born in September, and September babies rock.
Is that right?
Yes.
Not as much as April, but that's fine. That's fine. I have lots of great friends from September, like Pamela. So, yes, we were all very happy for Pam. Okay, so when was yours, Darren?
On Sunday.
Oh, okay. Happy belated birthday. Happy belated birthday. Hope you enjoyed it. All right, so let's get into this. Many will say off the bat, this is not unreasonable from Atlantis' part. What says the union, though?
Well, whether it's unreasonable or not, is it lawful? That's the question. Because as far as we're concerned, the Health and Safety Act prohibits the employer from passing on any form of payment in terms of health and safety onto the employees, while the same act provides that the employer should or is required to provide an environment that is safe and for not only the employees but also whomever is going to be patronizing the business. It says specifically that in their quest to do so, they cannot pass the test on to the cost on to the employees if it's associated. Bearing in mind, according to the emergency order, testing is only a requirement if you want to travel. So if I decide that I want to travel, then I know what I have to do. And if I don't want to take the test, then I don't travel. But when you say that you've decided that I am now requiring you to take a test to come to work, because testing is not a requirement for employment. And as a result of that, I'm now going to pass this cost on to you, which is, you might as well say $17. So that's $17 out of their monies right off the top in these tough economical times. So the question does not arise whether it's, it just doesn't arise.
Unreasonable, yeah. But Patrice and I were talking about this, but it is a pandemic. We see what's happening. People are dying. Yes, the law might say one thing, but if this is going to benefit the company, the country, these individuals, the workers themselves, why should, when there is an alternative, a vaccine, why should the company be responsible for this when the vaccine?
Well, the company doesn't have to be responsible. We're not saying that they should be responsible. All they have to do is, because other places of employment does not require testing. They require you to follow the protocols that have been established. You have to wear your mask, you have to sanitize, you have to have your checks when you get into the place. Government, the major employer on the island, doesn't require that. But what we've seen happening is the other major or secondary employers on the island have been allowed to get away with it. Because if you read their statement, they're joining the list of employers who are now requiring. So what they're saying is they're now joining the other employers, if we are correct based on the law, who are prepared to break the law. And no one is above the law, right? Because if employees or any individual decides to do something that is against the law, they're hauled before the court. And it's interesting because we tried to get the government, the former government, to deal with it. And of course, leading up to elections, we saw where Atlantis made the statement that they were going to push it back. And at that time, we say we believe it's politically motivated because we believe they wanted to see what was going to happen, what was going to be the outcome of the election. But what is also interesting is we referred this matter to the now sitting Director of Labor, who in another place made some utterance into the public saying that the same thing that we're saying. And so we're interested to see what's going to happen. And I think in all fairness, we were not able to connect with the minister until late yesterday evening. And he has advised that they are looking into it and they intend to make some statement. We don't know what it's going to be on it sometime today.
Do you have any idea how many or what percentage of Atlantis workers are not vaccinated? How many this would apply to? How many people this would affect?
No, I can't say.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the union looking for? I mean, what do you want? What are you expecting Atlantis to do at this point? I mean, because if you look across the world, there are mandates that are prohibiting workers who are not vaccinated from even working. So what is it that the union wants Atlantis to do? I mean, because I feel that we're going to get to the point where we're also going to be mandated to be vaccinated. They are working in the public service. They are serving people. I would think that a part of serving people means that you're taking my health, thinking about it at least. Are you putting me at risk? If I'm coming to stay at Atlantis, you're not vaccinated. Are you putting me at risk now? And that's okay? I mean,
no, please don't misunderstand what we're saying, right? From the union standpoint, we applaud and we encourage people to be vaccinated. In our short group, that is what we do. But if I decided not to, and the point of you saying, if I'm unvaccinated, I put you at risk, I don't think is entirely correct. Because whether you're vaccinated or not, you still can catch the virus. All it says is that you won't get sick as bad. You may not end up in hospital and you may not die, but you still have the propensity to transmit it.
Yes, but here's my problem. My problem is this. With the unvaccinated people, right? When they become sick, right? They cripple the company because then so now, let's say we have,
how do they
let's say,
cripple the company?
I'm going to tell you right now, give me a minute, I'll tell you right now. Let's say you have 5 staff working the front desk and they all are not vaccinated and they all have COVID, right? They're crippling the front desk functions. So it is risky.
Not entirely so. That's not so. That's not so.
Okay. In your opinion, but I'm just telling you that I've seen where cases where people even having to be quarantined because relatives are testing positive have crippled departments. That's just a fact. So
not a fact. And I respectfully disagree because if someone is out sick for whatever reason, it doesn't cripple the company because the company has an ability to put someone else in that place, which we know this company is able to do in a heartbeat.
Okay, so then let's say for a smaller company, I mean, because you're trying to set the standard here, and so people are listening.
I'm trying to make sure that the law is enforced. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
And if Darren decides that he does not want to be vaccinated, the law should cover the persons who decide to be vaccinated and one who decides not to.
All right, so let's take a step back. You said it earlier that the testing could be done away with and just follow the protocols. Now, we've known that we've had some mixed results with that. But how long do you foresee that continuing? I mean, is that a reasonable answer to the challenges that we're facing now? Just follow the protocols, whether you want to be vaccinated or not, and then we'll be fine?
Well, as was said, right? Until we move to where it is mandatory, because we have provisions in our industrial agreement that says, though people may not believe that the union advocates for something, if the government decides, or whomever it is, it becomes law that persons have to be vaccinated or they have to follow the health and safety protocols, we have a provision that says we then have to communicate this to our people and say, listen, you now have X amount of time in order to do so, right? But even in the midst of let me back up. Because I heard it mentioned about it being a pandemic and all that. Whatever law that needed to be suspended during the pandemic period was done so under the former government. One being the redundancy provision. So if this were the case and they wanted this to be suspended, they had an opportunity to do so. to suspend it. Because don't forget now, we still a country of laws. And if the law says something, we ought to abide by the law or amend the law to do whatever it is that you need to do.
Right.
Even in the midst of a pandemic.
All right. So I remember in our last discussion with the director of labor, it was brought up that you could enforce something like this where you have to take tests with new hires, not with existing. Right. So are you not worried that Atlantis could do a mass layoff and then say, if you want to come back, you're going to have to do this?
Or be vaccinated.
Is that?
But listen, if Atlantis takes a position to terminate the employees because they have been not vaccinated and rehire, I mean, they're within their rights, right? But we would be very concerned to know that because someone has taken a position, and what is also noted, because I know it is also mentioned that across the world, right? In their statement does not give any exceptions for one religious reason, persons who are unable to be vaccinated, because in our employ we have someone whose doctor told them they should not take it because of circumstances that they have. So there's just a blanket thing. Either you get vaccinated or not. So my job, I shouldn't have to decide whether or not I should be vaccinated or keep my job. Because when you start to make a unilateral change of my terms and conditions of employment, that's a concern because it shouldn't happen.
Is there no indication that they would work with people who have situations like that?
But based on the statement, there's none. And if they didn't say it, because I'm sure they didn't just sit down and decide to write that. Because what you're in fact trying to do now is make vaccination mandatory through your policy, and your policy can't supersede the law. So if the law changes, then we have no, the thing for us right now, Dwight, is to ensure that whatever the law says, that the persons who fall, I guess, on the outside of what the company wants to do is still protected. It's still protected. We may be only sounding the alarm, and we've been doing so for a long time, right? Is that you may find that the employees may not have a problem with being going and getting vaccinated. The other ones. So particularly, we said, I'm tongue in cheek the other day, well, maybe if our neighbors to the U.S. decide that you need to be vaccinated, your problem may go away, because you know how some of us like to go to Florida for whatever reason.
Right.
It may go away. I mean, that's tongue in cheek. But the reality is, the law is there to protect everyone. And if someone is contravening the law, which the Act provides, the minister should then designate someone to check it. And if it is happening, do what is necessary to have it stopped. So, I mean, in the global picture of vaccination, we say persons should be vaccinated. But it's a choice to them, because from where I stand in two particular positions where I can't mandate that, you go and get vaccinated. Because I don't know what underlying currents you have or what the condition would be. But you don't see them saying that if we mandate that you get vaccinated, something happens to you, we don't want to be liable, or we're not liable. So how fair is that?
So what are you hearing from the employees? What is the overall sentiment of Atlantis workers?
Originally, I think back in July when it first started, I think before we started to get other vaccines made available. Some were saying if they were able to get, let's say, the Johnson & Johnson or the Pfizer or whatever, they would go ahead and do so. And then there's some who just saying that they're still not, they're not comfortable with it. And so I believe, like anything else, no matter what it is, there will be a resolution to it. And we believe that there will be a resolution, because the minister has committed to do what is necessary to look into it. And see, but from our vantage point, people always view unions as rebel rousers. But all we're saying is, if the law protects the persons who decide that they don't want to, then that should stand too. While we try to, how do we coexist with what the employer wants and what the expectation is from the employees? Because over the last 18 months, the employers have been getting just about everything as it relates to this. One of the things, and we're glad to see, when the new administration came in, they actually relaxed the curfew hours, because that was something one of the other places that we represent was asking for. Because what that did was that gave the employees and their employee the opportunity to work more hours and get shifts.
Right.
Because when you talk about having the curfew starts at 9 o'clock, they were limited in terms of the amount of people they were able to roster on a daily basis. But when they took it to 12, they could almost run the entire shift that they would have been running before. So again, it starts to open up the economy and people are able to work. So I mean, we just want to make sure that the law is followed.
Right. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. On Morning Blend Business.
Morning, Dwight and your guest.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Wonderful. Ex-shop Scott here, PCPOU. Listen, do you all know that no entity, no other person, none of that, no doctors, no nothing, can force an individual to do something to their body that could be mind-altering, that can help them, that could even make them sick or even kill them. You know, the law states that nobody can do that. As a matter of fact, I give you an example. A patient is in hospital, has a terminal disease, and the doctors tell that patient, listen, we could do this and we could operate with that. That patient say, no, I disagree. And he opts to die. That is the law. The patient has the person has the last say. As a matter of fact, why should you worry about me if all your guests are required to be vaccinated coming into your hotel and for some religious reason I don't want to be vaccinated? Why should you worry about me? I enter in your business as a worker at my own risk. And third of all, why don't these hotels make it simple? You want to be vaccinated can get vaccinated. Who choose not to for various reasons, fine. Why don't they get a waiver that anybody entering this establishment, you sign this waiver that if you catch COVID, we're not, as a company, we're not responsible. Thanks for taking my call.
I don't know if they're responsible now. But I mean, this is basically what's happened, right? They're telling you, fine, if you don't want to take the vaccine, well, you've got to pay for your own tests every week.
And if I refuse, I can't come to work. Yes. So you have, in fact, terminated my services. And the law don't provide for me to be terminated that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even in the absence of a contract.
Yeah. So let's see. Parliament's about to reconvene, and what if the law does change? That you will have to, if you don't want to be vaccinated, you will have to. Let's just say hypothetical. You will have to pay for your own testing. What then? You'll just go along with it? That's fine. That's the law. Oh well.
Well, again, I refer back to our industrial agreement that talks about health and safety. If the law then provides for it, we as an organization have an obligation to say to our members, while we may not like it because some persons will be affected, we now say you have to now comply. Mm-hmm. And whatever the time frame is in our agreement for them to comply, they will have to comply with it.
Okay.
All
right.
If the law, and I said that earlier, because it's not mandatory, if the government who's responsible for legislature in this country does not make it mandatory, nobody under them can do so.
Right. Okay.
By any means.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Well, since the president's gone, I got two observations. Persons who are in the hotel industry who do not wish to take the vaccine, why would they then request sympathetic leave when their loved one died from COVID? I think maybe fair is fair. A pound of feather is no heavier than a pound of lead. If they have an issue with taking the vaccine and they have a loved one who dies from COVID, why would they then want their employer to give them time off to go to a COVID death funeral? Further, I believe the law would have said that if you can bring evidence that you cannot take the vaccine, the law, I think, has been fair. If you can prove that you cannot take the vaccine, then there are exceptions for you. But unions, there is something called the check-off system. And what they had was members of the union would pay dues, would have their dues deducted and paid into and non-union members were still getting the same benefits. So if the unions went after persons who were not paying dues but had to contribute, should there now be a meeting of the minds where persons in the union who don't want to take the vaccine and the vaccine is available there ought to be a meeting of the minds in that regard? I'd sit back and listen to your comment.
Okay, it's quite a lot there, Darren Woods. What do you say about
First
that?
of all, the law, as it is presently constructed, says no employer shall levy or permit to be levied on any employee of no employer shall levy or permit to be levied on any employee of his any charge in respect of anything done or provided in pursuance of any of the provisions in this act, meaning the Health and Safety Act, right? So if you decided you want to come up with a policy that I'm now paying, you decided to pay, you say that now I want you to be tested. Because remember, testing for employment is not a requirement. Let's get to the fundamentals of it now. And if you decide, well, now I want you to be tested, but I will pay for it now. Now you say, well, I don't want to pay for it no more because I want you to be vaccinated. But the law says you can't do that. That's what the law says. So there's no you produce this or produce that. The law says what it says. And that's why I said if they wanted to amend it or suspend this provision, right? Well, you know what you need to do so. So if at any point they decide to do it, then we have to comply with it because we believe in following the law also.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And we'll take this call before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Yeah, good morning,
Okay,
Dwight.
you're back.
Yeah, man. Listen,
Okay, let's make this quick.
And I'm not looking for recognition. I'd like to thank Dr. Pinto for his disclosure.
Okay, but we moved on to that. Now we moved on to the hotel.
I'd like to thank him. Call him with that, Dwight.
No. This is your third call for the morning. We got a lot.
Bye.
Yeah, well, come on now. I mean, we can't have you call the show all day long. Right? Or did I miss the memo? Let's take a break, and we'll be back. I don't know what's happening. The pandemic has sent everybody crazy. This is Morning Blend Business. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too? Of course we can. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami. And we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles. Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal. So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Some of us lost our jobs, but some of us realized just how essential our jobs were to others. Some of y'all work me dead hard though. Who, me? Be the reason somebody feels welcome, seen and heard, valued in love and supported. This Character Day, October 20th, we are saluting our essential workers. Log on to CharacterDayBahamas.org to nominate a hidden hero today.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudent Justice.
Final look at traffic this morning, and we can see that the morning commute has showed up later this morning. Now that we are in this 9 o'clock hour, the congested delays are showing up a lot more, especially in the southwest gateways. I thought that in the last hour it was underperforming over there, meaning while they are congested, the delay lines have been longer at the same time on other mornings. It seems now this late they have caught up, because leaving Gladstone Road is almost twice as difficult or lengthy as it was earlier. The traffic line leading out onto JFK, even now, is still extremely lengthy. Same thing is happening on Tumalabala Highway. The dual-bound lanes still are moving slowly and giving a lengthy wait time to get on out of there onto Tony's Million Darling. While Carmichael Road exit onto Blue Hill Road is quite nominal, it's still slow getting over the hill on Blue Hill Road and through the Tony's Million Darling roundabout below. That's even slowed now by the extensive back of dual lanes that we see on Independence Drive going west directly into that same roundabout. This much later, and the East Street ride into the city heading north and crossing over Soldier Road is also being slowed by the traffic light and the roundabout intersection ahead. We can see familiar slopes on Wolf Road, Village, Burnett, and Soldier Road traffic light intersection. And also Marathon Road has got that bumper-to-bumper ride getting out there onto Wolf Road. Overall, throughout the city, it's just gradually growing. Hardly any other congestion or delays to talk about. It is still with the Southwest Gateway where we're still having challenges this morning. This NASA Travel Report, service of Garden of Eden. We're able to enjoy stew or boiled fish, chicken, pig feet, tuna or corned beef, sheep tongue or sauce, just the way you like it. Delicious Bahamian breakfast every Thursday through Sunday morning at the Garden of Eden and lasts until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're in Eastwood. Call now to order and get easy pickup directions at 819-5574. That's 819-5574. With your Riders Guy, look at traffic in real time. I'm VANN.
Michael was in a horrible car accident. Prudential Loss Adjusters managed his claim and got him the settlement he deserved. Sierra's roof received hurricane damage. Thanks to Prudential, she and her kids are happy with their claim settlement. Tammy fractured her ankle in a slip and fall. Prudential saved her time, money, and peace of mind. Prudential Loss Adjusters are here for you whenever a tragedy strikes. Call 322-40 now.
Don't wait for disaster to strike. This hurricane season, be ready. Protect your home with an affordable and comprehensive home insurance policy from Shield Insurance. You can't control what nature blows your way, but with Shield Insurance, you can rest easy as you ride out the storm. Protect your largest and most valuable investment. Don't take a chance. Put your home in our hands.
Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau. Call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Nassau Cruise Port Limited now has more cruise lines booked for 2022 than were in 2019, when visitor arrival numbers to the country broke all records. That's according to NCP Chief Executive Officer Mike Mora. He told Guardian Business yesterday that he has even been approached by new cruise lines that are in development. Mora, who spoke while on the floor of the Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in Miami, said he's had meetings with all the major cruise lines and that those are just starting up. According to him, cruise lines have not scratched the surface yet in regards to the potential of cruise line business for North America alone, and continue to build new and bigger cruise vessels. Noted Caribbean economist Marla Ducaran saying recently that the Bahamas will not see the return of its cruise numbers to 2019 levels in the near term. However, Mora says that while the industry is still in recovery mode as it can the COVID-19 pandemic, while returning slowly to full operation, more passengers are beginning to return to their favorite cruise lines, and more cruise lines are bringing more of their fleet back on board as well. He pointed to NCP's bookings next year as proof that vessels are turning, though many with occupancies that are halved. The U.S.-based Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association blasting Nassau Airport Development Company, NAD, for what it called unnecessary, unfair, and unreasonable fee proposals for all international general aviation passengers landing at Lynden Pinling International Airport. NAD has targeted February 1st, 2022 as the start date for the new $28 fee for passengers arriving via private aircraft from international destinations. It's considered an airport improvement fee. In a September 23rd letter to NAD Vice President of Marketing and Commercial Development Jan Knowles, AOPA's Senior Director of Regulatory Affairs, Christopher Cooper, recommended NAD withdraw the modification to airport fees and charges that GA currently pays their fair share for their use at LPIA and should not be burdened with additional fees used toward capital improvements where direct benefits are not realized. Grand Bahama Power Company is eyeing 25% smart meter penetration by the end of the year. The company's calling the move a to 7,500 smart meters this year, a critical element of the modernization of Grand Bahama's power grid. According to a statement, the meters will be integrated into a state-of-the-art advanced metering infrastructure comprised of communications networks and data management systems that will allow two-way communication between GBPC and its customers. Read more of these stories in today's Guardian Business section. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Wednesday, your market movers benchmark moving 1,000 shares, closing down 6 cents to 170. Bank of the Bahamas moving 2,000, up 10 cents to 140. Colina Holdings moving 600, closing unchanged at 595. And Focol moving 2,092, unchanged at 396. Consolidated Water unchanged at 230. Emira Incorporated down 4 cents to $11.01. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,077.45, up 0.53. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. We are back here with Morning Blend Business on this Thursday morning. Dwight Strachan along with Patrice Fisher. We are speaking with Darren Woods, the president of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union. Darren, I know I asked you this earlier, but is there a way that you can find out how many people this affects at the resort? How many employees this would be affected by this change that Atlantis is proposing to put in place by October 1st, tomorrow?
Hello?
Yeah, wondering if there is a way that you'd be able to find out exactly what the numbers are like. Do you think that would be possible going forward to know exactly how many people this will apply to?
Hello?
Oh, is he not hearing us? What's happening there?
I don't know what happened.
Okay, so let's sort that out. Yeah? Somebody on mute? Nope. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Darren, but you can't hear us.
I can't hear.
Okay, so let's let's take a break again, and we'll sort that out and come back. Oh, we're back.
Okay,
you can hear us now.
I can hear you now.
There we
Sorry.
go. Oh boy, the technology.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay. So we were asking if there's any way that you think that you would be able to find out going forward how many employees this applies to that haven't taken the vaccine yet and don't plan to, and so we can get a better idea. Do you think that is a possibility at all?
Yeah, from our membership, we could try to get that information.
Yeah.
So we could know exactly what we're dealing with.
Right.
So members haven't come to you yet. You're just getting ahead of it, is what you're doing.
Well, no, through our shop shows, we've gotten persons asking what is their expectations, because these would be some of them who would have indicated they have not taken the vaccine as yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had some persons who have reached out to us already. But in terms of the number of persons that are affected, I wouldn't be able to say that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So,
but you said you are encouraging your members to get vaccinated.
I mean, again,
those
who
can.
Yeah, those who can. If they want to, we're encouraging it, because we also see we saw where the numbers have said that persons who were vaccinated, the ones who died were the numbers of persons who were not vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
And so if persons want to ensure that they protect themselves, to do so.
Right.
And Baron, as I also said, that if persons decide that I'm not comfortable with it, because people saying all sorts of things, and I think I heard former Minister Lang saying, persons who don't say based on persons who would have died as a result, because there's no statistical data to support that. But if you say to me, I'm afraid, or I don't have sufficient information, that's a different issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you decide to go and do so, because my family and I, we are going to make the decision in short order as what to do. And then, of course, if persons decide to do otherwise, all we're saying is, listen, we are here to ensure that the rights of our members are protected.
Okay.
And if that right says, I want to be vaccinated, then go ahead. If I don't want to, then it's equally important for us because we have to balance both of them from both sides of the coin.
All right, so it keeps coming up. People keep mentioning it that vaccinated people can get COVID and possibly can transmit it. So, is there any talk about requiring vaccinated individuals to be tested at all? Does that happen?
Well, it sounds as if the persons who are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, will not have to do the testing, but there's a screening that they would still have to do, and that screening just says that have you been in contact with anyone? Did you have a cough? Do you have a temperature? And so forth and so the like. So it seems as if you're vaccinated, there's no testing. It seems as if, but if that is the case, then you still wouldn't know whether or not the vaccinated person could be coming carrying the virus and passing it on.
But this goes back to what you said, though, about following the protocols. So if you follow those protocols, then you should have most of the bases covered if you are vaccinated.
And even if you're not, if I follow the protocols, if I'm not vaccinated, the same applies.
So let's just say,
not necessarily. Well, yeah. I don't know.
Think about it.
I don't know.
I avoid large crowd. I wear my mask. I social distance. I wash my hands. I sanitize. If I do the same thing that the vaccinated persons are doing, because you still have, what has not been said. The amount of persons, and maybe you need to do a poll, persons who are not vaccinated and have not caught COVID. How about that?
Well, I mean, they then may not be sure. I mean, as many people are asymptomatic. But yeah, it's been a lot. We're all learning so much about this thing.
Exactly.
It's very tricky. It's very tricky indeed. Yeah. Patrice, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
So yeah, she wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. So let's just say that your members do not want to be vaccinated, and then Atlantis moves to isolate them in various departments. Like we put all the unvaccinated in this area, all the unvaccinated use this restroom, all the unvaccinated eat in this area.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm just asking. So if let's just say that happens. Oh, now it's discrimination.
Well, I mean, it actually does sound like that.
I know,
it really
right?
does sound like
what
that.
I'm saying is but where is the line drawn?
Again, Ms. Fisher, you're missing the point, right? If I'm an employee over there, right, and you decide that because I'm not vaccinated, because we have a provision that says I cannot be discriminated, and let me draw a scenario too, because in the law it prevents discrimination because of a particular disease, right? You can't discriminate if I would have caught that disease. So if I'm unvaccinated, how could you then now say because I'm not vaccinated, you go to this, you come through this door, you go to that bathroom, you eat in this facility? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't know if they have the guts and the legal grounds to do that, but that one's a bit rough. Yeah. But stranger things have happened.
Right. So basically, the ball right now is in the government's court.
But the government, because again, all indications are that they would make a statement on it.
Right.
And I guess whatever statement will come with the weight of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course we only lay people, but of course we would have gotten legal advice from our attorneys as to the interpretation and the direction they should go with. But the fellas with the big money, they don't mind going to court, because they know the small fella can't go.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? Mm-hmm. And then they go and they drag it on for years, and so so I mean, all sorts of things have been known to happen with these big conglomerates that come here.
But you're not prepared. You won't be prepared to go to the court, would you, on this matter?
Well, it all depends. That's anytime you ask a lawyer a question, that's the normally the answer they say. It all depends.
That's safe.
All right, let's take this call. Hopefully this is a new caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, God.
Good morning.
You see, nobody is above the law. Something is in law, right? When this came into effect, right, it's a travel. And all of a sudden now you can make a ticket for work. If the previous government has fixed this problem, we wouldn't be here today. It's true that they have one company or two companies above the law. So when you have a previous person in the government, Mr. Scott, who tell his employees, if you don't take it, what will happen? That's when the government should have acted right there and then. And Atlantis is not above the law. Okay? If taking the test for travel, how come all of a sudden now, if I don't want to have take a COVID, if I don't have be vaccinated, I got to pay for it. I don't have a job. Come on. And I hope this government will act right away to fix this problem, because Atlanta shouldn't be above the law. The employer strike shouldn't be up in the air. If the October 1st coming, I can pay it out of my pocket. Like the president said, other employers right now, they following protocol. Wash your hands, 6 feet, stay apart, and they're waiting. You tell me which government office today, person have to be fully vaccinated. People encourage it, people like for it to happen, but tell me, this way the government should be proactive today. Let's move on this quickly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So so that's what you were saying earlier, Darren, that everybody else is following protocols in all the workplaces around the country, with probably a few exceptions. What makes Atlantis different? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. And because at the end of the day, there are other employers who they've set whatever the policies or protocols are in place as prescribed by the Ministry of Health and the emergency orders, and they're working out quite fine. But I don't know what they hope to achieve. Maybe it's trying to get persons to be vaccinated, but that's got to be what it is, because they're saying if you're not, this is what you have to do. So they're kind of trying to take, maybe under the former government, that was what they wanted to do, make sure the persons get vaccinated. So we don't want to be the one to say you have to be vaccinated. So we have some agents, so they're doing it on our behalf. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But aren't you more comfortable? Aren't we all more comfortable knowing that the employees are tested weekly? They are handling food. They are in your hotel rooms. They are. Does that not give some comfort to guests and to everybody?
If you understand the persons who have to do food right now, handle food, there's a food handler's course that they have to take, and there's also a health certificate that they have to provide for. But that is done at a particular timing, right, of the year. But when you say now, because of this pandemic, right, and everything has been blamed on and I tell someone the other day, this suitcase for COVID is so full, they got to sit on it to close it, because everything is because of the pandemic, right or wrong, right? But if persons are now being required to do the testing because the employer said we want you to be tested. No one else, the employer said we want you to be tested, and we will pay for it. So if you want that to continue, either you pay it or you discontinue it, and you say we'll now put these protocols in place. But I believe that we are prepared and open to have a frank discussion. We'll wait to see what the minister comes up with, and try to get this resolved sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
because it's the big elephant in the room. Yeah. Everyone has been kicking the can down the road. And like I said, we firmly believe that the decision to push it to October was politically motivated after the elections were announced. And so, we'll see.
Let me ask you this. We were running out of time, but I understand that people who are working at Atlantis, and maybe other resorts as well, but are not working full weeks, and that there are even some just limited days and even requirements for you to take a week off after you work your limited days. Clear that up for us. What is the reality? How bad are things?
Well, you see, and this is something that we sound off early in the year, right? Because person was saying when you get to September, October, November, you have pent up frustration for people to travel. But we have known traditionally that the tourism industry, 9 months of the year, when you get to August, September, and October, it's traditionally slow because of varying reasons. Persons taking the children back to school or whatever have you. And so we knew that when it get to this time, that you would find persons going on reduced days, because that's what normally happens during this time. But they're allowed to take vacation or they take leave of absence and all of that. So you now find a situation that is coupled with COVID, according to them, where they're on what we call a rotation, because there is a provision in the agreement for when things begin to get bad, you start working reduced days, and if that persists, then you go to what they call week on, week off, and that is where we are, where you find persons working reduced days in some instances, or they are on week on, week off. So when you now add to that, if I'm working 2 days, 3 days, or whatever have you, you now say out of that, I need to take $16, $17 out to pay for a test weekly. Not every 6 months or once a year, weekly. So you're looking at close to $100 for the month that's going to be taken out of my monies that goes right off before I even go to work. I ain't get to work yet. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important to ensure that the rights of the employees or our members are respected and protected.
Yeah. My goodness. So are we?
What do you say?
Are we expecting things to pick up for Thanksgiving though? That's what the outlook is. That's
The outlook is, which is normally traditional. Once we get down to Thanksgiving, we get that first the last 2 weeks of the month, and then it drops off and it picks back up in December, around about the Christmas time, and it kind of takes off from there. Hopefully, if everything works out okay, and everything remains the same, then hopefully we should start to see the rebounding of the industry. But again, a full rebound. Some of the analysts are saying we probably wouldn't see that until maybe 2023, early or late. So it all depends on all the mitigating factors.
Right. Wow. Well, Darren, we hope you keep us posted, and we'll see what happens, so especially with the government, and we will talk again soon. Thank you so much, and again, happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you so much. Also to your co-host and to Ms. Fisher, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And yes, as he said, Pamela Musgrove, again, happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great, great day. And Patrice, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me, Dwight.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely had a great time. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.